Okay, I'm going to assume we're live. I'm going to assume we're live. It says we're live on YouTube, so I'm going to say we're live. Anyways, welcome to, yes, still very unprofessional. We're working on it. Settle down, people. Welcome to Functional Idiots broadcast of the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. No more than 7 games left in this NHL postseason or season in general. To help me along with this, because I'm not good enough to do this by myself, is my dear friend Andy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this evening.
Yes, so not pivotal, but big first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Mostly just down to the two teams that are involved. That alluded earlier, the Florida Panthers, who are in search of their first Stanley Cup as a franchise. They were in the finals last year, lost in 5 games to the Vegas Golden Knights, who won their first Stanley Cup. And they're going against the Edmonton Oilers, who have not won a cup since the 80s, when Gretzky and Messier and Coffey and all them guys were on that team. So it's been a long time since Edmonton has won a Stanley Cup, and it's been since 5 since Edmonton's last been in the Stanley Cup Finals. Basically, they've been rebuilding since 2006.
2006, yeah.
2006, okay.
Yep, 2006.
Yeah, that's right. There was no 2005. Yep. So 2006. So basically, Edmonton has been rebuilding since 2007 because they have never gotten to this point until now. It's the first time. I'm going to say 2020 is a special exemption because of how the season was. But it's the first time in a regular standard NHL season that a Canadian team has been in the finals since Edmonton was in the finals in 2006. Yes, Montreal made the finals in 2021, but that was a shortened season, and we actually had 2 Eastern Conference teams in the Stanley Cup Finals between Montreal and Tampa Bay. But for a regular season, this is the first time a Canadian team has been in there in a long, long time. It's good for all of Canada. Now, I don't think they have the right team. I think most of Canada would have preferred Vancouver, but hey, we can't have everything, okay?
Yeah, no kidding. I would have loved to have seen the Canucks go all the way.
Oh, I know. It would have been great. But hey, from where they were last year to this year, you can't complain. You could not complain as a fan.
Much improvement.
It's unbelievable improvement. So for different things we're going to touch on before the game starts, a little after 8:00 is puck drop time. We're going to start with Edmonton. One of Edmonton's strong suits is their power play. All right, this postseason, Edmonton's rocking with a 37.3% power play, which is absolutely bonkers. That is unbelievably high. But when you have guys like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid running your power play, basically both units, yeah, you're gonna get some pretty good numbers for the power play. It's not as good as last year. I know. Last year, I think they were rocking in the 50s for a while there in the postseason. Yeah. Still 37%. Basically, if you're taking 3 penalties in a game, Edmonton is going to score on one of them. It's nuts. And to back that up, their penalty kill 93.9%. Just ludicrous numbers out here from Edmonton.
Unheard of.
If you're in the high 80s for a penalty kill, that's really good. And if you're in the mid to high 20s for a power play, that's really good. And Edmonton's blowing that out of the water. But now not to disparage Florida. Florida's rocking a 23.3% power play, which is average for, I would say, most, during the regular season. That's an average power play. But their penalty kill is 88.2%. So it is second compared to Edmonton's nearly 94%. In this postseason. Both are very similar on goals for and goals against. Edmonton at 3.5 goals for, and Florida's at 3.24. Goals against, Edmonton's at 2.61 and 2.29 for Florida, respectively. So both teams are very good offensively and very good defensively between the two. So we don't have the starting lineups because they probably won't give that out till about 3 seconds before puck drop because it's just how it works in the NHL. But we have projected lineups. Andy, if you have that up, or I don't know if you do or do not.
I actually found an online website like what lead commentator Colt said earlier. We're still working on our professionalism. I have
Well, you know, we don't do this as it's not like this is our full-time job, so we got other stuff we need to do, you know.
exactly. Is it on? Oh, yeah,
I found a projected lineup on NHL.com. I can shoot that over to you.
Oh, no, never mind. No, don't worry about it. I already got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. The last email you sent, okay, it's from Dallas and Edmonton from the last project. Okay, never mind. I am all set, ready to roll for the projected lineups for the game 1 if you are.
Yeah, you could go ahead with the lineups.
All right, everybody. So, here we go. Down to the final 2 teams of the season. Leading off, I have the Edmonton Oilers projected lineup first. The forwards, on the left side, we have number 93, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. On the right side, number 18, Zach Hyman. In the middle, center, the captain, none other than himself, number 97, Connor McDavid. On the second line, left side, number 55, Dylan Holloway. On the right side, number 91, the enforcer himself, as I like to say, Evander Kane. And in the middle, rounding out that line, is number 29, the German boy, Leon Draisaitl. For the third line, on the left side, we have number 37, Warren Foegele. On the right side, number 90, long-term veteran himself, making NHL history tonight. He is the first player in NHL history, Mr. Corey Perry is, to appear in a Stanley Cup final with 5 different teams. He's on the right side, third line this evening. Very, very fascinating. He's the first one in NHL history to do that. Well, just the fact of 5 different teams, 5 different years in the Stanley Cup Finals alone is just absurd and pretty unheard of, if you know what I mean. Am I right?
Oh, unbelievable. And to say he's never, with those 5 teams, he's not won a Stanley Cup with any of them. He's been a big fat loser.
Didn't he win it with Tampa Bay once?
I thought he came in the year after Tampa won it. Their second time.
Tampa won back-to-back.
Right. I'm saying after their second time, I thought. Because Tampa won it in 2020. Yeah. And he played for... Well, you know what? Let me look. You keep going on and I'll look that up.
Okay, sure. That sounds like a good idea. And rounding out the third line for the forwards is the centerman Ryan McLeod, number 71. That'll move us to the bottom line, the fourth line. On the left side, former Dallas Star himself, Matthias Janmark, number 13. On the right side, we got Connor Brown, number 28. And rounding out the fourth line in the middle, number 19, Adam Henrique. Moving into the defensive pairings next. First pairing, this first pairing of Edmonton's is just absolutely cracked in talent. It's nuts. On the left side is number 14, Matthias Ekholm, and on the right side, number 2, Evan Bouchard. A lot of talent on that first pairing. It's nuts.
Oh, for sure.
Insane. Second pairing on the left side, number 25, Darnell Nurse. On the right side, number 5, Cody Ceci. Rounding out the third defensive pairing, we have Brett Kulak, number 27, and on the right side, number 86, Philip Broberg. And projected starting in tonight's game, it is none other than number 74, Stuart Skinner. There has been absolutely no shortage whatsoever of excellence coming from Mr. Skinner. From just the whole playoffs itself, he has just been a brick wall. And it just the way he stands tall and, continues to make this much consistency, it is just pretty spectacular, I gotta say. And then backupping tonight for the backup goalie is number 30, former Grand Rapids Griffin, Calvin Pickard. So
yes, okay. So I have Corey Perry in 2020, the 2020 playoffs. He played for Dallas, who Dallas lost in this Cup Finals to Tampa Bay. In 2021, he played for Montreal, who Montreal lost to Tampa Bay in the Cup Finals. In 2022,
Oh, that's
he
right.
played 2022 and 2023. He played for Tampa, and then this year he's played for Chicago and Edmonton. So yes, 5 different teams technically. 4 different teams made it to the postseason. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 4 different teams over 5 different years in the postseason, and he has not won all finals, and has not all of them finals, but has not won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it just
He's like the modern day Marian Hossa. Wherever he goes, he's about a year too late.
yeah, no kidding, Yeah, I feel bad for the guy because I'm an Anaheim Ducks fan, and I'm sure glad that he won it with Anaheim back in 2007, I think it is. So thank God for that. But it just funny, yeah, and you're exactly right. Giving off those Marian Hossa vibes. Oh my gosh, wow, that takes me back. Going nearly 2 decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that bring back memory, or that does bring back a lot of memories. But anyway, we're getting closer and closer to puck drop here, coming up very soon. So next I'll move into the Florida Panthers lineup.
Before you do that, big news or decent news out of this is that Warren Foegele who has been injured, who knows what for, because they don't say at all what they're injured for these days. He is returning in the lineup. I know you said his name earlier, but he's returning in the lineup, and it's been a while since he's been out. And he's a good third line grinder for Edmonton there. So that'll be a nice help for them in that department.
Oh yeah, very nice. Okay. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Now we're moving on to Florida Panthers. Starting off with the forwards, as always, on the left side, we have number 23, one of the biggest standouts of this team, in my opinion, Carter Verhaeghe. He's got a lot of talent. He's one of my favorite players to watch out there. On the right side, we have number 13, Sam Reinhart, and rounding it off in the middle, I believe he's the captain of the Florida Panthers. It is the centerman, number 16, Alexander Barkov.
I do believe you are correct.
As I say, I'm pretty sure he's still the captain. So, second line, moving to the left side, we have number 19, Matthew Tkachuk. There's been a lot of social media talk all over. Doesn't matter what social media platform you're looking at. He is one of the top guys in this Stanley Cup Final Series to watch, too. Whether he displays a lot of talent, scoring goals, assists, points, whatever it may be, or if he's, looking for a scrap, trying to drop the gloves with somebody. You never know what he's going to do, so it's always going to be a great game. Man, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. I can see him and Evander Kane just going at it. Like, you know what I mean? That'll get the crowd riled up a little bit. Like, this is war out here, people. We're fighting for bragging rights for many, many years, Oh my gosh, that's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to watching them too. It's good. That's gonna be good. On the right side, moving next in, we have number 17, Evan Rodriguez, and then moving to the center, we have number 9, Sam Bennett. Onto the left side for the third line, we have number 27. That is E2 Luosterainen?
Luosterainen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was close.
Close.
On the right side, number 10, former St. Louis Blue, Vladimir Tarasenko. Centerman, number 15, Anton Lundell. Moving to the bottom line of the forwards, on the left side, Steven Lorentz. Right side, Kyle Okposo, number 8. And rounding it out in the center, number 82, Kevin Stenlund. I believe that's how you pronounce that as well. Stenlund?
Yeah, Stenlund, yes.
Okay, that sounds about right. Moving to the defensive pairings, we have on the left side, number 42, Gustav Forsling. And on the right side, number 5, Aaron Ekblad. Oh my gosh, the many talents of Aaron Ekblad is surely something else too. That's for darn sure. Second pairing, left side, number 77, Nico Mikola. On the right side, number 62, Brandon Montour, former Anaheim Duck as well. Left side, number 91, Oliver Ekman-Larsson for the bottom pairing. And on the right side is number 7, Dmitry Kulikov. And moving in to the goaltenders, the backup, number 41, Anthony Stolars. And starting in net projected is number 72, Sergei Bobrovsky, the former Columbus Blue Jacket. When you look at him now and when you look at the time that he spent with the Florida Panthers over the last few years, I think it is now, there's definitely no shortage of his talent at all whatsoever. I mean, he has been just as good as Stuart Skinner has been this whole entire playoff series. Now that we come down to the final series and will eventually determine a championship winner here in this series. And, I have certainly seen a lot of talk about social media as well around Sergei Bobrovsky. Doesn't matter what platform you're using or whatever, he by all means, after him finally getting out of Columbus and coming here to a Stanley Cup championship caliber team is, by all means, this is going to be an exciting series. I know I'm still bummed out after Dallas lost to these Oilers in 6, but I mean it is what it is now. So there's no going back. There's no turning it around. No nothing. We're here to decide a winner. Because it's that time in June when we get to that. So Sergei Bobrovsky, people definitely be watching him too, because I mean this is going to be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to him and clutching up, and oh my gosh, I can see him now just making some highlight reel saves just as much as Stuart Skinner has. So when we look at the goalie battle side of this things, it to me is neck and neck, even and even. This is anybody's series. If Florida can keep up with Edmonton's pace, they can do it. They can definitely do it. Moving into Game 1 predictions and Stanley Cup Finals predictions next. Like I said, this is definitely anybody's game. This is anybody's series. My prediction, I think this is the year that Edmonton finally wins it all. They look, despite losing 2 games against Dallas, they still looked really, really strong and cleaned it up really, really nice at the end of that series. My prediction for this year's Stanley Cup, I think Edmonton finally wins it all, and I think Connor McDavid finally gets his long-awaited trophy. Definitely depressing and sad for these Florida Panthers and especially Sergei Bobrovsky, as if that were to be the case, they would lose back-to-back championships, appearing in the finals. But for my prediction on this series, I got to go with Edmonton 4-2. It just, by all means, Florida has the talent to win games, but I think Edmonton's speed is going to be just too much for Florida as well. Especially with the rockin' special teams that Edmonton has nowadays. You know what I mean? It just, it's nuts. But it is what it is. So you never know, but it's just a prediction. And of course, obviously, everyone's entitled to their own opinion around here, so that goes along as well. Moving into the Game 1 predictions, I think this is going to be a steady, pretty fair pace. Obviously, both of these teams want to, understand what playing against each other is like, and how this series is gonna play out, whether it's cleaned up stuff and everything's clean passing, better offensive chances, or if it's gonna be sloppy. You never know. Unlike the Dallas and Edmonton game that we watch, there's turnovers just constantly in the neutral zone. But I mean, I think for my prediction, I'm gonna have to go with Florida on this one. It's in Florida. I completely forgot the name of their new arena.
Ameritrant Bank Arena.
Yeah. That's it. I think it's going to be a close, tight game, but towards the end of Florida, we'll get an empty net goal, so it's in Florida. I think Florida takes game 1 by a final score of 4-2.
All right. Well, you left me with a lot of catching up there. So I'm going with the opposite. I think, because I believe in the old adage that to win the Stanley Cup, you first need to lose the Stanley Cup, which means basically you're gonna have to take 2 trips to the finals to win the Stanley Cup, because the first trip you go to the finals, you're gonna lose it, because it's just if you're a team that's never been to the Stanley Cup finals, there is a ton of pressure to win the 35-pound trophy. So there's a lot going on there. Where if you look at Florida was there last year, and their team, if you compare the team from last year to this year, it's nearly the same team. Nearly the exact same team. I don't think they lost any players at all from last year's team to this year's team. So they've all been here, quote unquote, before. Where Edmonton, their core group has never even been this deep in the playoffs before. You know, they've never even been this far, let alone the finals. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I think this series will go the full distance, 7 games. So we're going to see the Stanley Cup awarded in Florida in Game 7, and I believe it's going to be awarded to said Florida Panthers in 7 games. If Florida can keep Edmonton's power play in check, which means don't take penalties, I think Florida's got Edmonton covered. Where Florida can trip up is if they take a lot of penalties. Then you're giving that potent Edmonton or power play a lot of time to do work, and you just can't do that. You can't do that. So if Florida can stay out of the box, they're going to be sitting pretty good. I mean, you still got to beat McDavid and Draisaitl 5-on-5, which is not easy to do. So there is that. I think for Game 1, Florida's going to win it, and I'm with you. I'm going to go 4-2. Last one's an empty netter. I don't think this series overall is going to be a very high-scoring series, because Bobrovsky, or as he's commonly referred to as Bob Robsky, because he loves to rob goals. He's like an ageless wonder. He keeps aging, but he doesn't slow down at all in his quality of play. It's like he just keeps getting better and better. I think he's like 36 or something, which is usually when goalies start losing their edge, because goalies are the first one to go out because they don't get quote unquote rest during the game. They got to be out there for the full 60 minutes.
Yep.
So, and they're doing a lot more stuff. It's a lot easier for them to get injured for going up and down, sliding across, pushing off, and all that stuff. So, but I mean, he's been doing absolutely fantastic. Bobrovsky has. I think the other help is that Florida's been pretty damn good on home ice, and they have home ice advantage for this series. So that's why I feel that Florida, as an organization, is going to win their first Stanley Cup this year as an organization. I feel it. And I really want that to happen, because Paul Maurice, he holds the record for the most wins in the regular season as a head coach without a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
He has nearly 1,900 regular season wins, and he has not hoisted Lord Stanley's Cup. So and if you listen to his press conference, they're nearly must-watch TV. The dude's funnier than hell. Between him, if you put him and John Tortorella in a room together, oh God, you'd piss your pants laughing so hard. I mean, them two, oh geez.
Yeah.
They are just great soundbite creators. So, oh, look at that guy. He got some good-looking sunglasses and a sombrero there. That man was bitching.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Miami Vice, yeah, those neon colors. Oh, yeah, Florida vibes all the way.
So, they went through the starting lineup. I believe it was Bouchard was starting with McDavid, Hyman. I didn't catch it all. It looks like Nugent Hopkins and Matthias Ekholm, and then obviously Stuart Skinner starting for Edmonton. For Florida, no surprise, Sergei Bobrovsky is starting for Florida. And their starting lineup, because just because the projected lines say something doesn't mean that's what the starting lineup is going to be. I think for Edmonton, it actually is their first line, but it wouldn't have surprised me if for the first line, the first minute of the game, they would have put McDavid and Draisaitl together, but they didn't. They left it with their first line. But so starting for Florida, up the middle, we got Alexander Barkov or Sasha Barkov.
Yep.
We're going to have on defense Aaron Ekblad starting on defense for Florida on one side of the sheet.
An absolute unit.
Absolute unit. Next to him is the player with the highest plus-minus ratio. I believe he was like plus 51 in the regular season. Gustav Forsling.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he had the highest plus-minus in the regular season. Starting alongside Sasha Barkov, we got Carter Verhaeghe, who has been an absolute unit for Florida in these playoffs. And on the other side of the dot, we got Sam Reinhart. So for Verhaeghe, he has, let me see here. Carter Verhaeghe. He's played in 17 games, 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points. I mean, just an absolute unit. The only one that has more points than him is Matthew Tkachuk at 19.
Yep.
So, but averaging a point a game, you couldn't ask more out of a player. And if you look, Florida has nearly four guys that are averaging a point a game in these playoffs, and a lot of them that are averaging about 3/4 of a point a game. The Oilers now, Leon Draisaitl has 28 points. He's nearly going at 2 points a game, but that's just because of who he is.
Yeah.
And you have McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Hyman are all double digits on the forwards for Edmonton, but they're the only ones double digit for points for Edmonton. And the only one that has a lot of points on the defensive end is Evan Bouchard, who has 21 dishes. Absolute dish master. So I think if you look at it, and it's been a problem for Edmonton, is they just haven't had a lot of depth because they've had a lot of money tied up between McDavid and Draisaitl. And so it's kind of the Toronto Maple Leafs effect when you have four guys. Now I'm saying for Toronto, four guys eating up half of your cap space. Well, that's only about a quarter of that's not even a sixth of your lineup.
Exactly.
So you got to spend the other $40 million on nearly 20 guys. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna get a lot of good players. And if you throw Morgan Riley into it, you're 5 players and about $52 million into your pocket. So, and that it kind of shows that when the playoffs roll around, Toronto's been, but it doesn't take. Apparently, it takes a rocket scientist in Toronto to figure out that one.
Yeah. Something I just now saw. The scoreboard is not on the live stream, just the background image and the Discord.
You talking about it's on the live stream?
Not on my end.
Yes, it is.
The scoreboard?
It is.
Now it is. There we go.
Some dumbass forgot to turn it on. Jeez, I wonder who that is.
Holy smokes.
I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find him.
Now we are getting ready to drop the puck here, ladies and germs.
I'm gonna find him and take his lunch money. We're going through the Canadian national anthem right now.
Oh yeah. So
we were unable to get Homer Simpson to sing it for us. Hopefully we can do that for game 2.
Unfortunately, because all he knows is 2 words and that's it.
That's right. So let's go on and compare the goaltenders here for Edmonton. All right. So now if you look at, you can't go straight off of what the goals against for Edmonton is because Calvin Pickard has, I believe, started 3 games in these postseason. 2 games because Stuart Skinner 3 games played. So I believe Skinner got yanked in game. It was against Vancouver. I think game 3 against Vancouver. So Skinner, who is the primary goaltender, he has played in 16 games. He's 11-5-0. He hasn't lost in overtime. He has 40 goals against for a 2.5 goals against average and a save percentage of .897. Because he's stopped the puck 389 times, which is it's okay. It's not great, but for the Panthers, Bobrovsky has started in all 17 games. He's played all the minutes in those 17 games. He has 12 wins, 5 losses, 38 goals against for a 2.2 goals against average and a .908 save percentage, stopping 415 shots. I think that doesn't really tell because there's been, like, if you looked at the Boston games, there was a couple games there in the Boston series between Boston and Florida where Boston didn't even get a shot on, like, had 5 shots on goal at the halfway point of the game. 10 minutes into the second period, Boston would have like 4 or 5 shots on goal. And okay, if Boston scores on one of those shots, well, that's going to ruin Bobrovsky's save percentage.
Yep.
Now, after that, Boston would get more shots, but when you're already starting 30 minutes basically in the trash with 0 shots on goal for the most part, it's hard to rack up those goals or those shots. And Florida is a really good defensive team where, you know, our home team, because we're based out of Michigan, our home team is the Detroit Red Wings, who have been rebuilding since 2017, thanks Ken Holland.
Yep.
Whenever Detroit gets even just a 3-goal lead, you, as a fan, they'll go, a lot of times when teams get a 2 or 3 goal lead, there's like 10 minutes left in the third period, or even the third period as a whole, they'll play a more defensive game. They won't take as many risks. The defense won't pinch into the offensive zone to keep the puck in and all that stuff. They'll play more defensive. The Red Wings are not very good at that right now. It's just because they have a really young team. They don't have a lot of defensive experience. You know, if you look at their lineup, it's like, okay, yeah, Seider's good, Wallman's good, and Gostisbehere's good. Okay, that's only half your defense. You can't have 3 guys play the whole 60 minutes. Where Florida is really good. There was times against Boston they'd have a 1-goal lead and they'll sit back and play defense. It's like, you guys gonna play, and they win the game. It's like, all right, never mind. I'm not used to seeing this kind of stuff where a team with 1 goal is able to hold off another team for an entire 20-minute third period. Just Florida is really good at the defense, playing defense, holding leads late in games. They are unbelievable at that. I wish I would have taken a stat. They played a stat for Florida at the end of sometime during game 6. I think rolling into the third period against the Rangers. They were like 65-0-4 when holding a lead going into the third period. They had not lost in regulation when they hold a lead going into the third period since like January of 23. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous stuff. Just ridiculous stuff.
Gnarly.
So, here we go. Opening face-off for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. The farthest distance for any Stanley Cup Finals at 2,541 miles between the two cities, setting the new record, which was the old record was between Vancouver and Boston in 2011, which was at exactly 2,500 miles. The northernmost team in the NHL against the southernmost team in the NHL for the greatest trophy in all of sports. I don't care who you are. The greatest trophy in all of sports begins at Amerit Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida, and we are underway.
Here we go.
Evan Bouchard for the Oilers dumps it into the zone. Florida brings it back out, and let's see, Nugent Hopkins going to pick it up and survey. Pass it back to Bouchard. Edmonton gets it into Florida zone. Bobrovsky's going to play. Oh, here we go. A chance for, I believe that's Hyman. Big save by Bobrovsky right off the bat. He kind of mishandled it trying to get it up. And I think McDavid blocked it with his stick, and it sat there right in the low slot for Hyman. So Bobrovsky tested early. Basically, he saved his own bacon on that one. As it's up at the point, Bouchard and Ekholm played give and go with it. As Hyman has it in the corner for Edmonton, trying to break it into the front. He's standing in Gretzky's office. As Forsling now has it for Florida. It's poked away, but Verhaeghe is going to pick it up. As Edmonton's going to go for a line change, as is some of Florida. As Florida gets it into the neutral zone. Hate the dump and chase. I cannot stand the dump and chase. I'm going to try not go off on it in the first minute of the game, but I cannot stand the dump and chase in hockey.
Yep.
As Sam Bennett gets into the Edmonton zone. Stuart Skinner goes out to plays it, throws into the corner. Bennett about picked Kane's pocket there. But Kane's able to regather it, and, Florida's able to keep it in there. Good play defensively as Kachuk's going to go in after Nurse. Nurse is able to poke it away as Kane picks it up. Passes it over to Cece. being hounded by Tarasenko. Ekman-Larsson passes it up. It's tipped in by Florida by Lundell. Back into the neutral zone. There's a little bit of miscommunication there by Florida. It's almost like there was a line change. Nobody wanted to touch it. Edmonton gets it up into the Florida zone. It's tipped, so that's going to negate the icing. Bobrovsky plays it behind the net. Much more cleaner this time than it was the first time. As Ekman-Larsson has it for Florida. Lundell pokes it into the zone. Edmonton picks it up, trying to wrap it around the boards, and they do, but Montour gets it into the neutral zone for Florida. Over to Lundell, and he's going to dump it in. In the corner for Edmonton. Florida pick it up. A little bit of bodies in the corner, still fighting for it. It's poked up in the air into the neutral zone by Edmonton there. Out to the point to Ekholm, and he takes a blast over the top of the net. As Florida's able to get it out now. They're going to dump it into the zone and go for a half of a line change, not a wholesale one. As digging around, Florida has his surveying out in front for nobody there. Ekblad now with it. He takes a shot at the net. That's blocked. Verhage has it. See, I had to think there because I keep forgetting that Oposo plays as Edmonton gets it into the Florida zone. Barkov picks it up. I forget that Oposo was traded to Florida. And I keep forgetting that because it's so weird not to see him in a Buffalo Sabres jersey as Edmonton ices the puck here. Yep. And so I was like, who is number 8 again? And it's like, oh, God, that's Oposo. Holy crap, I forgot. He still he plays for him. Like I said, as we watch the replay, that's a good stop there by Bobrovsky as he falls on his keister after. Hyman, I think... Oh, we got it with his in the face. Way to use your head there, Bob. I think Hyman had more time there, but I think at the beginning of the game, it was fine there to just rip a shot rather than trying to get something fancy with it. As Florida wins the faceoff, Forsling gets it down to Reinhart. Down below the goal line, now above by the hash marks. Down to Verhage. Out in front for Barkov, but that was blocked away by Bouchard. Reinhart with it again. Bouchard picks it up, blocked by Reinhart. Verhage has it. He puts it up front, and nobody home. And that's going to be a great breakout by Florida, except it was the wrong zone.
Yep.
As Ekblad passes it up to Barkov, and Florida breaks it out of their zone, the proper zone. Gets it to Reinhart, back to Barkov. What a goal by Carter Verhage. Tic-tac-toe play. Unbelievable. And Florida's the first one to strike in game 1. Little give and go by Barkov and Reinhart. And then Barkov, who, if you give him anything more than a phone booth to work in, that's too much room, as he's able to get a nice backhanded dish across to Verhage. And Edmonton defenseman, I don't know who, but looks like Ceci definitely missed that assignment. Little give and go, and Barkov, beautiful play.
This place is going absolutely nuts.
Just perfect right there. Barkov to Verhage from Barkov, and I think they're going to give the assist to Reinhart there. So everybody on the first line for Florida touching the puck.
It looked like Stuart Skinner got a piece of it, but it just rolled off his blocker just inside the post and in. Anyway, back to the action here.
Yeah, sorry, I was writing down the goal on my paper so I can note it later if I need to.
15:43 to go.
And I believe we have a stoppage for the net coming off. Definitely, that was big because that was Florida's first line versus the Oilers' first line. And huge right there. Like I said, that's how Florida is going to win this series is by the main way is by not taking penalties and giving that dangerous Edmonton Oiler power play any chance to work. And if they could just keep the first line, ideally for Edmonton at bay, because that has 3 of their 4 highest points getters on that first line. If you can keep them at bay, you'll be sitting pretty good. As that one's blocked from the point on the way through for Edmonton, it gets rifled out. I believe that was offsides. Yes, it was. I'm gonna say that was offsides as Broberg tried to keep it in and Not quite able to. If the blue line was about 2 inches wider, he would have been fine.
Yep.
So I gotta say, the NHL they can have jersey sponsors. LaCroix, not a fan. I don't know. I know of about one person who actually likes LaCroix and drinks it. I don't, and I'm not one of them. I'm just saying. Just gonna go out and point that out right now as Draisaitl's kicked out of the face-off. So we got Reinhart and Evander Kane.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I'm going to give that one to, I'm sorry, that was Sam Bennett. I knew it was Bennett, but my brain was stopped working. That was Bennett. Bennett and Evander Kane. Bennett's going to win that one, and he has it now. Gives it to Tkachuk, who's going to just tip it into the zone. Bennett picks it up. Wraps it around, goes out to Mikolo at the point. He takes a shot. No traffic in front of Stuart Skinner, so easy stop for him. As Rodriguez tries to battle with Holloway for it, he does. He's able to dump it back in. As Edmonton loops it around, Kane picks it up to Draisaitl. Draisaitl being kind of Rodriguez all over top of him there. Edmonton's now able to re-break it out again, and they're going to, well, they were going to try and dump it, but Loisterinen has it now, and he's going to be able to bring it in his zone. He's going to rifle a shot, but that's blocked. Lundell picks it up for Florida. Point out to the point, and that's shot. That one's blocked. Never even made it to the net. As Draisaitl picks it up. I'm sorry, not Draisaitl. Connor Brown picks it up. He brings it all the way into the Florida zone. One-man band. Ekman Larson for Florida. Back passes it to Lundell, who's going to break it out. And that looks like of icing against Florida. Yes, it is. As he tried to get the pass to Loisterine in there and just wasn't quite able to get the saucer pass landed in time. So 14:22 left in the first period. They're not quite 6 minutes in. Kind of a questionable hit by Henrique on Oliver Ekman-Larsson there. I think it's hard because there's been a lot in the NHL lately of guys turning at the last second. Like they know someone's coming. As McDavid brings it in for Edmonton, big stop by Bobrovsky there. But as I was going, as guys turn like at the last second because they know if they do, they can draw a penalty. And it's hard because yes, it's a penalty, but it's like these guys should know that if they have the puck in the corner, they're gonna get hit. So it's kind of the whole thing of, it's hard because guys can get hurt on plays like that, but at the same time, it's like you put yourself in front. If you play on train tracks, you might get hit by a train. So don't play on the train tracks then. Don't put yourself in that situation. So it's hard, but there's other issues I think the NHL could work on, like on a cross-checking. But that's okay. We're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait till someone gets their back broken by a cross-check before we change anything. As Darnell Nurse picks it up in the Edmonton zone,
and the trapezoid.
Well, the trapezoid's not what's gonna cause injuries.
I know, but
yeah, but still,
get rid of that too.
Yeah, Marty Brodeur rule. As McLeod brings it into the Florida zone behind the net. Picked up, Edmonton wraps it around in front, but nobody there. Tarasenko tried to get it out, but Darnell Nurse is able to keep it in as Lundell picks it up. Back to Tarasenko. Over to Mikkola. He's going to skate it over the red line and dump it in, and I believe Florida's going to go for a wholesale line change here. As McDavid gets it to Cody Ceci. Edmonton's able to break it out, but immediately turned over, and Gustav Forsling dumps it back in for Florida, and Stuart Skinner stops it behind the net there for Darnell Nurse. Nurse is able to get it up to McDavid, and here you go. He's got the legs pumping, and, well, he got nothing to go with it. As Ekholm fires it around, Hyman picks it up, down to Nugent Hopkins. Barkov able to get it away from him, and Ekblad is able to backhand it out of the zone. As Ekholm won the foot race against Verhaeghe for it, but Reinhart's able to dump it in, and Florida's going to tag up and go for a line change. As Ekholm gets it up to Connor McJesus, who's going to skate over the red line into the Florida zone, and he's upended by Forsling there. Good clean hit there. Love that stuff.
Cheer from the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Love that stuff. Good stuff. As we have a stoppage, it looks like we're going to get our first penalty of the game, and it looks like it's against Ekholm since he is raising a stink about it.
I believe I did see a trip.
I did see it, but it was I was going to bring it up, but I wasn't sure if they were actually going to call it because I could have seen it going both ways. Let's see if TV plays a replay of it. As we see, I guess McDavid didn't get upended by Forsling as much as I thought he did, but let's see. I mean, kind of went down a little easy, if you ask me. I didn't quite catch who that was for Florida. I don't think it was Bennett. I think it was Kyle Oposo. So I think he went down a little easy, but per the rule book, it was a trip. I guess this early in game one, you can call that. If I was called in overtime, I would definitely be raising more of a stink. Because we change how we call rules in overtime in the NHL.
That's right.
Why? There's 3 different rule books in the NHL if you didn't know.
That's right, because, what's consistency?
Right, because there's one in the regular season, but then the postseason, there's a different rule book. But then we hit overtime in the postseason. Now we get a different rule book when it comes to penalties. Because, like Andy said, what's consistency? That's overrated.
Yep, and then the regular season is the same as the preseason rules.
Well, I didn't count the preseason because that's a lot of times when you have a lot of AHL referees will do preseason games.
Yep.
To try and make their mark and see if they can get a full-time job in the NHL.
Yep.
Just going over the stats so far, Edmonton has 3 blocked shots to Florida's 0, and it says Edmonton has 4 shots on goal, which I believe that. And Edmonton has 4 shots on goal. Florida has 2.
Yep.
Obviously, 3 Florida attempted shots were blocked. But even though Edmonton has 4, I think Florida's been controlling the game so far, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you had that one early shot on Bobrovsky from Hyman about 30 seconds into the game. So there's one, and then you had a couple more where it wasn't really dangerous shots, very low percentage shots that actually go in. Where versus, one of Florida's shots went in, and another one is one from the point. And I believe that's where you're going to get a lot of your goals are point shots, or how we saw it was a 3-on-2. You're not going to get shots where you can just rifle one towards the net and it's going to go in. You need to get traffic in front of these 2 goaltenders. They are way too good of tendies to let just flutter shots to get in, to squeak in like that.
Yeah, yep.
As Montour is going to dump it in for Florida, as we've already pissed away nearly 30 seconds of our power play, because Chuck picks it up, gets it to Barkov. Barkov shoots it at the net, and I believe that was blocked, never even made it there. As Montour picks it up, down to Tkachuk, who's going to swoop it around to Barkov. As Sam Reinhart sneakily lowering himself into the low slot as Barkov has it, looking for Verhaeghe, but couldn't quite do it. Throws it in front. Popped up in the air, and Verhaeghe can't quite get a hold of it. Throws it across again to Barkov. Down to Tkachuk, to Reinhart, to Verhaeghe. Big stop by Skinner there. Sliding across had a little bit of... Tkachuk was down below by the goal line. Popped it out to Reinhart, and I don't know if Reinhart shot it or if it was blocked. Or he passed it to Verhaeghe. No, he did. He stopped it with his foot, and he wanted to get a shot off, but he wasn't able to because Connor Brown had him tied up there. So he passed it over to Verhaeghe, but Skinner was all over that, and it wasn't that far of a pass, so Skinner didn't have to push off. But still, you make the goaltenders work. They get tired. You can get some easy goals by doing that. As the second unit comes out for Florida, as Tarasenko has it. Back up to Forsling at the point. Over to Bennett. To Lundell. Lundell back down to Bennett. Bennett to Rodriguez. Up to Forsling. Back to Rodriguez. Back to Bennett. Back to Forsling. And he's not able to quite a hold of it. So they have to regroup in the neutral zone. This Forsling's going to dump it in because, we have the puck on a power play. Let's just get rid of it. As it gets poked out to the blue line, but Forsling's able to hold it in. As Lundell runs over his man, Rodriguez picks it up. Does a little nifty toe drag out to Forsling at the point. He takes a shot, but that's tipped or blocked on the way through. Edmonton trying to get it out. Not able to. They got a 3-man battle in the corner for it. As Edmonton's finally to get it out. Up to Ekholm, who just came out of the box. That almost was perfect timing for Edmonton, but not quite. As it's poked away by Bennett and then poked out of the zone by Forsling. So I would say Florida definitely got away with one there. as it's up to Draisaitl. Out to the point to Bouchard. Big shot there. Bigger save by Bobrovsky. As Barkov has it. It's a diving play by Florida. Not quite able to as Bouchard brings it back in. Over to Draisaitl to the McDavid, but he's tied up. Big shot by Ekholm, and that one's wide. Out to Bouchard. Down to Draisaitl. Back to the Bouchard at the point. That one's blocked, and an easy glove save by Bobrovsky there.
Just a nice little scoop up.
Little ground out there. I believe that was Bouchard that let that one rip, and I think it was blocked, possibly by Barkov's stick on the way through. So a couple more block shots. Finally, Florida's probably going to be on the board with a couple block shots now.
We got ourselves a great game here.
Yes, we do. As the shots on goal are now 5-3 for Edmonton. Big. I'd say that was a big kill for Edmonton there. Where if Florida would have scored, that would have been bad. Going down 2-0.
Serious momentum.
Yeah, going down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes of game 1 in someone else's building. That's tough. That's tough.
No kidding.
I wish on this the NHL's website here they could give me zone time. That would be nice to know. What's the zone time? You know what I mean, Vern?
Yep.
Well, the regroup back to the Carter Verhaeghe goal. Yes, he is. That was assisted by Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart. So the first line getting it done for Florida there at 3:59 of the first period. Big first goal. I think scoring the first goal, now between these two teams, they both not scored the first goal in one and scored the first goal in one. So it's not like the end of the world where, like, if Florida scores the first goal, they have a 16-3 record, or Edmonton where they get scored on first, they have a 3-8 record or something like that. It's not the end of the world. Again, a lot of talent on these teams. They will, if you keep grinding away, you're gonna find a way to put it in the back of the net. And I think one reason why Florida has a better chance for winning the Cup this year is last year. I think they were riding on the high because when they hit the All-Star break, they were not in the playoffs and they weren't even in the hunt for the playoffs. And then the magic of Alex Lyon came in and helped them get in the playoffs. As there's a good shot by Edmonton, stopped by Bobrovsky. As Hyman has it in the corner. I'll get back to that when we get the next stoppage. And that one's poked up, but Draisaitl has it behind the Edmonton net to Hyman. As it looks like we are mixing up the lines as we got Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman out there. So the big heavy hitters. Bouchard rips one, and that one's easily stopped by Bobrovsky. But to go back on what I was saying earlier, they were riding on the high of from the All-Star break till the playoffs started. Florida made the playoffs, and they weren't. I mean, if it would have been the 1 through 8 seed, I think they would have been the 7th or 8th seed. I mean, they barely made the playoffs, and then they made it all the way to the finals, right? And I think now during that, I believe Tkachuk had either a bruised or a broken sternum. So he was playing injured. A couple other guys were playing injured. And I think just that high wore off. The grind of playing a lot of hockey in the playoffs finally got to them. Where I think now they have that experience. They were a great team. I mean, they won the Eastern Conference. Or they were second in the Eastern Conference, rather. This year. And like I said, the main core group is the same. The coaching staff is the same. The goaltending's the same. A lot of defense is the same. Everything's the same. And it is working really good for them so far this year. So, interesting note for Edmonton's head coach, because I don't remember who their coach was off the beginning of the year, but they started terrible. They hired who they have now, and he was actually Connor McDavid's head coach when McDavid played for the Erie Otters in the OHL. Little tidbit there for you. As CeCe picks it up, gives it to Kane, he's going to flip it out, and Ekman-Larsson's not going to be able to keep it in. As Kane has it now, he's going to dump it in. Looped around, out to the point to CeCe. He's going to take a shot and tried looking for a tip, I believe it was Henrique, but not able to. As Florida's able to get it out to Tkachuk in the neutral zone. He's fighting for it. Picked up by Bennett. He's got some help with Rodriguez. Back to the point to Ekman-Larsson. He takes a fake shot. Went down to Bennett trying for something to work. Didn't work. as Ryan McLeod brings it in for Edmonton with Warren Foegele. Mikolo for Florida has it behind the net. Still has it behind the net. Poked away by Lusterinen, out for Tarasenko. And he's on his horse like he's at the Belmont. Back to Lundell. Lundell takes a shot, easily blockered away by Skinner. As Mikolo runs over Corey Perry. Broberg picks it up for Edmonton. He's going to get it out to Foegele, but that's picked away by Montour. Montour still with it now, and that was close to being offsides for Florida. They say it's onside still. Lusterinen to Montour. Montour rips a shot over the net, over the top of the net. Oposo with it in the corner. Yeah, higher. Oposo in the corner fighting with, I believe that was McDavid. A little fourth line guard. No, it was Foegele. Damn, 37s and 97s look a lot alike. As there's McDavid. I knew I saw 97 out there. As McDavid now has it. He's able to negate the icing with his fastest legs in the NHL. As Montour is able to get it up. Gloved down by Bouchard. Forsling has it now for Florida, and he's able to skate it over the red line and dump it in. Around to Reinhart. To Verhaeghe down below the net. Ekholm for Edmonton gets it out. Now Reinhart with it again. Ekholm pokes it up. And Barkov able to keep it in with that long reach for Florida. Ekholm once again launches it out, and that looks like it's not icing because Ekman Larson was back there. Barkov's going to dump it in. Draisaitl picks it up, backhands it to CC. CC tried to get it to Bouchard, missed it. Tkachuk has it, he takes a shot. That's blocked away by Draisaitl. Another bad pass by Edmonton there, courtesy of Evander Kane. Well, they're able to regather it up and bring it into the Florida zone, but immediately lose it. This Bobrovsky plays it to Tkachuk. Tkachuk plays it up. Turned over, or not necessarily turned over, but unable to hold it was Bennett in the neutral zone. As Ceci has it, he takes a shot wide of the net. Rodriguez and Holloway fighting for it with Tkachuk there is helping, and I don't know who, somebody just got ran over there. I believe that was Kulikov, as Ekman Larson dumps it in for Florida. In the corner there, we're fighting for it. Back around. As Broberg picks up, he's going to pass it up, and now we got Edmonton on half a breakaway. Big stop by Bobrovsky there on Adam Henrique, who's not necessarily known for his skill, but hey, nothing wrong with a third liner or a fourth liner getting one on the board for you. That will help rile up the boys, but Bobrovsky on top of it. As Lusterinen gets it in for Florida. As Ekholm holds it behind the Edmonton net. Up to McDavid, and he kind of blows a tire. We're not going to call tripping, or are we going to call? Yes, it looks like we're going to get a Florida's first penalty, so Edmonton's first power play of the game. I was going to say, if you called the first one a trip earlier there on Ekholm, you're going to have to call that one as a trip too. Because it was about the same. It wasn't much of a trip. I'd argue he went down. You know what? That was more of a trip than the one on Ekholm.
Yeah.
Because he did get the stick. He was kind of a lazy stick that got in between McDavid's legs. And he didn't completely fall. I think he did kind of sell it at the end there, but you know, hey, any good NHL player will always sell a penalty. But it did impede his progress. So per the rule book, Edmonton's going to go to their first power play, which again is a dangerous power play. Very dangerous power play.
That breakaway Adam Henrique just had, plus this, Edmonton is,
I think they've got
on their way to looking forward to changing the momentum here.
Yes, they've definitely gotten rid of their bus legs. I mean, you look at it now, Florida has not had a shot on goal in about 7 minutes. They're still sitting at 3. At least per my count. It says 3. Now, it could be wrong, and it says Edmonton's at 9. So we'll see. We'll see if that stands. But so far, it's Edmonton 9 shots, Florida 3. As for the Florida penalty, it's going to be Gustav Forsling who's going to go sit in the sin bin for just a couple minutes or less. And I have a feeling it's going to be less. I think Edmonton is going to score on this power play. They've gotten rid of them bus legs, like I said, and they're starting to roll, starting to get going. I think I think we're going to be digging it out of the Panthers' net in less than 2 minutes of game time. And I think it's going to be Draisaitl in his corner, which is basically on the frickin' goal line. Holy crap. You see what the 50-50 is at there?
I missed it.
Nearly 111,000. Yes, please. I'll take some of that. Thank you.
Wow.
111,000. Good Lord. And it's the first period. My God.
No kidding. So, anyway, all right, we're back from TV timeout here.
Here we go. As it goes out to Bouchard at the point, and that is blocked by Lusterinen, I believe. And, well, that's going to kill off the first 10 or 15 seconds of the Edmonton power play as Bouchard picks it up. Skates it up, drops it back to probably McDavid. Yeah, who else? McDavid picks it up, skates it into the Florida zone, shoots it across, or passes it rather, across the Draisaitl. Draisaitl down to McDavid in the corner. McDavid tries to pass it in front. Tipped, but Nugent Hopkins catches it. Passes it down to Draisaitl. Draisaitl to Bouchard via, I believe, Lusterin skate. Bouchard has it at the point over to Draisaitl. Draisaitl takes a shot. That one's blocked. Out to Bouchard to McDavid. To Draisaitl. Across to Hyman, and that's blocked away, I believe, by Lusterin. Good active stick by Lusterin there. Could have been by Bobrovsky, as Hyman was sitting back door wide open. Had time to bake a cake and eat it. As Draisaitl picks it up. Passes it up to Nugent Hopkins. He's in all alone, and big stop by Bobrovsky. Flings that left pad across.
Wow.
As Nugent Hopkins had a great pass from Leon Draisaitl and went in on a breakaway. That's about the third breakaway for Edmonton this game, so Florida's going to have to clean that up, but Bobrovsky standing tall.
Yep. Gotta love that veteranship.
Yeah, Ryan Nugent Hopkins just able to get behind all four Florida players and in all alone did a little bit of a move trying to freeze Bobrovsky, but he wasn't having any of it. A big left leg pad save by Bobrovsky there. So he keeps it 1-0 Florida. 53 seconds left on the Edmonton power play. Did you forget to start the clock, Andy?
No, I actually been having some unfortunate issues with the score clock. When I wanted to wind it down to 53 seconds, it all of a sudden went up by a minute on its own.
That should fix it. I had it open by accident.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. The timer is wrong. There's 3:40 left in the first period, 33 seconds on the power play.
I will have that fixed temporarily. Here,
yes.
Coming up soon.
Here, just sync it up with the 3-minute mark, unless we get a stoppage here. Go ahead.
The thing about the score clock is I can adjust the time clock. I can't adjust the penalty time clock. I have to let it run.
Yeah, well, you could take the penalty off the board here, which will be in about 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah, anyway.
Yes.
Connor McDavid moves in.
Well, you can take it off the board now because, Florida is able to ice it, and that's going to kill the rest of the power play as we got 3:07 left in the first period. There you go. Nice job, Andrew. Yeah,
done.
We have a scoreboard online that I paid good money for, and it's a good website. The only thing is if we both have it open, it kind of oopsies because I have the scoreboard. I shared a link with Andy so he can run it, and if I leave it open, it doesn't know what to do, especially when it comes to timer. Now, for other games that don't have timers, like if we do MLB games, I don't think that'll be an issue. But I just had to close it, and we should be good now. I just noticed that. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Did somebody forget to start the clock?
Yeah.
Geez, Andy, you had one job. Run the freaking board.
Anyway, Edmonton loses out on the power play opportunity.
Yeah, Florida Edmonton only had about one, maybe two shots on that power play there. And obviously the big one came from Nugent Hopkins on that breakaway.
Florida's definitely looking really, really strong here.
I know.
Despite still only having, 3, 4, 5 shots on goal?
I think 3. They haven't had one in a while. Well, they're on that penalty kill. And yeah, it's 11-3 shots-wise for Edmonton. So I'd say in the first half of this period, it would say Florida was winning the period. I'd say now it's definitely been Edmonton's period. And it definitely shows by the shot totals as Tarasenko brings it in for Florida, and that's blocked by Broberg. In the corner, Tarasenko and Lusterinen. Lusterinen pokes it out to Lundell. Lusterinen now with it again. He's dancing around Broberg, and he still has it. Looking like McDavid out here. He's going to rim it around to Tarasenko, who tries to keep it away from Kuliak and unable to. But Lundell is able to bring it back in for Florida. As Luostarinen has it along the boards. Still with it. Now Reinhart with it behind the net. That goes off of the stick. I don't know whose stick that was, but Ekblad throws it down low. That's high and wide. Lundell with it. He pokes out to Forsling. Forsling back down to Lundell. To Reinhart in the corner. Reinhart with it. Throws a shot at the net. Good blocker save by Skinner. Had a little bit of traffic in front, so he had to react quickly as Verhaeghe gets it down to Lundell. Lundell out to Ekblad at the point, who takes a shot looking for a tip there by Reinhart. None there. As I just said that Edmonton was definitely winning this period, and well, now Florida must have heard that because they've gotten their act together.
Yeah.
As Forsling gets it, as Edmonton got it out, but Forsling and over to Reinhart is able to dump it back in, and Barkov picks it up in the corner. As a little bit of line mixing here for Florida. I don't think that was on purpose. I think that was just because Lundell and Luostarinen were doing really good in the zone. And so they stayed on the ice a long time, and then Lundell stayed on the ice for a really long time. So it's kind of jumbled up the lines here for Florida. As Draisaitl gets a shot in front, but Bobrovsky stands tall once again. Don't call him Sergei Bobrovsky for nothing. God, every time I start yapping about something else.
Yeah, kind of like just an innocent broken play there, and then...
Yeah, I don't know who that was. It looked like Montour tried to wrap it around behind him, and Holloway picked it off, put it out front to Draisaitl. Quick shot there, but a quicker save by Bobrovsky. Kind of a lazy play by Montour there. Nearly bit him in the butt. As looks like we're going to have a redo on the face-off. The Lineys didn't like something going on. A little bit of shenanigans happening. Yeah, Bobrovsky has just been unbelievable these playoffs. Like I said, the stats don't completely show it save percentage-wise. I'd say goals against they do, but he's been unbelievable for Florida. As Draisaitl has it for Edmonton. Back out to the point to Ekholm, and a big save by Bobrovsky. I don't know if he was being screened as we get a little bit of a scrum here between McDavid and Tkachuk. As the referee Steve Kazari is basically telling Tkachuk, you keep doing anything, your ass is going to be grass. You're going to be in the sin bin for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I think McDavid was kind of running a running screen in front of Bobrovsky, and he may have ran into him.
I think he may have lost an edge, possibly. Let's see the replay.
No, good save by Bobrovsky there. I mean, and then he kind of just slid out.
Oh.
No, it was Hyman, not McDavid. I'm sorry. McDavid came in later. Now, to be fair to Hyman, he never entered the crease. Bobrovsky came out and made the save, and as he came out, he slid out of his crease. So,
yep.
Not really anything for Florida to be upset about, because it's not like Hyman entered the crease. But hey, you gotta stand up. You gotta stand up for your goaltender. He's standing up for your guys' mistakes. You know.
As Hyman went to turn around, that's when contact was made.
Right,
Hyman was looking for the puck.
Right,
that's what he was in. That's what his intentions were.
Right, but like I said, Hyman was not in the crease, so no, wasn't. He didn't do. It's not like he drove through the crease and upended Bobrovsky here.
Yeah.
So, as the end of the first period gets wound out, we're gonna have a stoppage here. Who knows what for? I can't listen to the audio because if I do, OBS will pick it up and we'll have a copyright issue. As it looks like we're gonna get a penalty. It looks like Edmonton's gonna go back on the power play. Verhaeghe to the box for high sticking. It's just a 2-minute minor. I think he caught Ekholm in the corner there. As Maurice looks on, let's see. Nope, he got Bouchard there. Yeah, that was pretty obvious. That's a bad penalty by Verhaeghe there.
Yeah,
there's no
keep your stick down.
Yeah, there was no reason. I don't think he did that on purpose. He was trying to reach around Ekholm there, but you got to control your stick. You can't do silly stuff like that. So we're gonna have only a little bit under 9 seconds here for Edmonton to get a quick shot or two off, as it is a quick shot by Draisaitl there. But Bobrovsky
makes the save,
sitting along the post. Kind of had to act quick. I don't think he was completely expecting a shot there from Draisaitl. You gotta be careful. Draisaitl has an unbelievable release. I mean, it's on his.
Does he ever?
It's off his stick, It's on his stick and off his stick before you can even say Draisaitl. Out to Bouchard, shot for the point, blocked by Reinhart, not once but twice. And the end of the first period there is Nugent Hopkins wasn't able to get it, but Bobrovsky keeping this game 1-0 for Florida. Because Edmonton for sure could have at least a couple, if not 3 goals, if it was not for Bobrovsky. Without a doubt.
No kidding. So Stuart Skinner on the other side has had a slightly quieter-ish night, but hey, anything can change in the second period.
Yeah, because, I mean, the shots are, we believe, 14 for Edmonton and 4 for Florida. Let me write that down. Let's see. Edmonton has 14. FLA has 4. We believe that's correct. They could possibly make a change. But as it stands for right now, that's what it's at.
Yep.
Working. Oh, really? Come on. I do not have... I'm trying to load some stuff. Thank you. Trying to load some stuff here for if we go to take a little bit of a break so I can, roll a song. And where the hell's the rest of my music? I know I got more than one song. What did I do with the rest of them? Wonder if I never moved them into the right folder. Wouldn't put it past me to do that. Would not put it past me to do that. I don't know what I did with them now. Bet I still have them in downloads. Yeah, I do, because I'm silly. Oh, boy.
That's all right. Second period starts in 16 minutes.
That's all right. Hey, well, don't worry. We'll talk about something here in a minute, all right? Just trying to...
Oh, well. Don't worry about it. But just do what you got to do.
Well,
so, anyway,
I'm just moving the mute. I found the music. I never moved them into my proper folder that said music.
Okay.
And so I just moved them into that folder. I should probably move them into another folder within the music folder. I'm going to do that right friggin' now. Folder.
Sweet.
FIB music. FIB, obviously, Functional Idiots Broadcast, because we are functional idiots. Unfortunately, Dylan, rather. My bad. Slip of the tongue, I swear. Dylan is unable to join us, and I don't know why. He didn't say. He's been kind of tight-lipped lately, although he's sitting inside of a current voice channel on our Discord. But he's away from his computer, so I don't know if he was playing a game and now he's doing something else because he's a pain in the ass or what's going on. So, but
anyway, much more action to come. Stay tuned. You're not gonna miss a thing. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the Functional Idiots broadcast of the Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida leads 1-0 right now. As we were in the first intermission, Edmonton with 14 shots on goal. And definitely, if you look at the first period overall, Andy, Edmonton definitely controlled that period. More than Florida, for the most part. And I think you'd have to agree.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's been enough of a back and forth game, but no kidding. Florida just doing a nice job of really capitalizing on that early first shot of the game, in front chance there, backdoor, Carter Verhaeghe right in front. Definitely textbook play there. Despite this 1-0 lead that Florida has, it's still anybody's game. So plenty more action to come here in the second period. The shots on goal total, oh boy, it's going to be exciting.
It doesn't, like I said, Edmonton with 14, Florida with 4. It doesn't tell the whole story because you see that and it's like, oh, Edmonton's killing them. Not really. I think Edmonton has done a better job, or did a better job at the beginning of the game blocking shots. They have 7 blocked shots. Now, Florida has 5, but 3 of those came in the last about 30 seconds, courtesy of Sam Reinhart. So that was 3 of them. But the first 10 minutes, I think Florida controlled it. But then once we hit the second TV timeout, once Edmonton got their first power play, which was at 14:53, a little bit before that, they were definitely controlling the game a lot more. So then they did that until about 2 minutes left in the first period, or 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes or so. Florida woke up again and put a couple more shots on the board because they sat at 3 shots on goal for about 10 minutes of game time, which is an eternity in the NHL to not have a shot on goal. Face-off wise, Florida has a 47.4% win ratio, so that means Edmonton has 52.6. They are doing a little bit better than Florida in the circle. Both of them are 0% on the power play. As of right now, Florida is 0 for 1, but Edmonton is 0 for 2, although they are currently working on their second power play. As you can see, they're going to have a $1.51 left in their power play when we start the second period. Don't worry about changing. It's not worth it for 1 second.
Exactly. I can't anyway, so.
Oh, you can't? Well, you could run the clock for like a second, then reset it, but that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, for 1 second. It's not like we were off a full minute, you know?
Yeah.
Not of your,
unlike the last 2 glitches. Yeah.
Yeah, not of your doing. I totally forgot about that earlier. I opened it because I put the proper team colors up there. the name and all that stuff, and then I just left it open, never closed it, and oops.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. The first glitch that I saw, when that happened, the in-game TV time clock was down to 8.5 minutes, and because there was a longer-ish play during that time frame of the period, and I looked over and I saw the clock is at 11:30, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I 3 minutes slow? Hold on, why is Florida's power play still up? That ain't right. It's just...
I've been hitting that space bar. I know that stuff's been working.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding.
To go back through the stats, though, it's been a pretty physical game so far. I mean, Florida's got 24 hits and Edmonton's got 15, which, hell, you'll see that in the modern NHL. That'll be the hit total for a whole game.
Yeah.
And we got that just in the first period. Right. It's not as much as I believe a Florida and Boston game. Was it Florida-Boston? I can't remember who it was. They had like 60 hits or 60 or 65 hits combined in the first period. I mean, it was absolutely ludicrous. It was great. Loved every minute of it.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's what we need more in the NHL is more physical play. I'm not saying we need, Cronwall style, absolutely rolling a guy over, knocking him dead out cold, but we want the occasional big hit, but just more physical. There's too much dancing around. Guys need to be put on their butt keisters every once in a while, just to keep them honest.
Yeah, we need some of that playing on the train tracks kind of style.
That's right. Well, not completely, but hey, that was a damn good analogy. I don't care who you are.
That's right.
Playing the train tracks, you're bound to get hit. Don't put yourself in that situation. But I did put a couple things. It's just a placeholder for right now until we can get something a little bit better. But just put on the live stream there, first intermission. And then I made one for the second in overtime. Of course, I probably could just kind of get and edit it, but that's a lot of work. I'm too lazy to do that. This is just a placeholder for right now.
Yeah.
Until we could get I wish on our scoreboard we could put in an intermission thing. You know what I mean? That'd be really nice, but whatever, it's okay. Not the end of the world. So, all right. Quality of play. If you had to we're gonna start a new thing. We're gonna give out Andy's grades. If you had to grade Edmonton's play in the first period, Andy, what would you give them?
Edmonton's play, despite the hiccup there at the beginning of the game and only taking one penalty, I think I'd give it a solid B+. The quality of chances in the offensive zone has been pretty solid by all means. Defense, it's there, keeping Florida contained. So I think I'd have to give Edmonton a B+ on that one.
Okay. Flip side, what do you give Florida's quality of play after these first 20 minutes?
Florida, I think I'd have to. I think Florida's going to have to be down in the B- range. They did a nice job of killing off the two two penalty kills.
Well, they've only killed off 9 seconds of the first one, so.
Yeah, so far, yeah. Obviously, the shots on goal has not been there, but I mean, well, they still got the lead. And then obviously Sergei Bobrovsky alone himself has been bringing the total up, single-handedly.
Okay, so
because, that's Sergei Bobrovsky doing Bobrovsky things.
Okay, so if we get rid of Bobrovsky, if we just go by the 5 guys on the ice for Florida, excluding Bobrovsky, what would you give their play? Because like you said, Bobrovsky is definitely bringing that up with how he's playing so far. If you excluded Bobrovsky, what would you give Florida's play?
Despite them having the lead, I think we're looking at about a C flat.
See, I'm good with that. I'm close on that. I was good with a B-, but that's just because Bobrovsky is keeping this a 1-0 game. Without Bobrovsky standing on his head, this easily could be 3-1 right now. Easily 3-1. But yeah, he's bringing that C up to a B-. I think I would give Edmonton I think B+ is good. B+ teetering on A-. I think I would have gave him an A- if they would have done a little bit more on their first power play. It was kind of for how good their power play has been this postseason. It was kind of, they never really got it set up, and Florida was able to ice it a few times, which definitely kind of ruined their power play. But they were really good on the penalty kill, which was great because that was huge for them, because if Florida could have scored on that power play, it would have been 2-0 before the 10-minute mark of the game. But yeah, I could see giving old Edmonton there a B- or B+, and giving Florida a B-, but really ideally a C because of, well, Bobrovsky. So, or I'm sorry, a C, but actually a B- because of Bobrovsky. Said that backwards. So, as we start the second period, Edmonton gonna have about $1.51 left on their power play. As Carter Verhaeghe went to the box for high sticking against Evan Bouchard, which was a basically just, it was a stupid penalty. It was a needless dumb penalty. There was no reason for it at all. Zero. I can't think of any valid excuse of why you could say, oh, well, that's why I did this. There was none. He was trying to get around Ekholm, and he had his stick 6 feet off the ground for whatever reason. Who knows?
Yep.
So no reason for that to be happening. But he's going to be in the sin bin for another 51 or shorter. About to find out here.
So here we go. Puck is dropped.
Bouchard for Edmonton surveys. Gets it up to Nugent Hopkins. He's going to dump it down, and Bobrovsky's going to poke it into the corner. David out to the point for Bouchard, as Ekblad's able to cut it off and dump that down. Stuart Skinner, who is, I would say, he's played, I mean, that first goal, there's not much a goaltender can do on that. I mean,
oh yeah,
basically a 3-on-2 cross ice backdoor. What are you going to do? You know, unless you're like the Walrus in the Geico commercial, it's going to be very hard to stop that.
Yeah.
As Nugent Hopkins has it for Edmonton, back to Bouchard at the point, down to Nugent Hopkins in the circle. Nugent Hopkins down to McDavid, out in front to Hyman. Oh, and I think he set it over top of the net. Wide open, 4x6 net for Hyman, and he set it high. Oh my God, he's gonna have nightmares. I thought that went in, and it was like
good after that.
I thought that went in, and it was like a very subdued celebration for some reason. I was like, oh no, it didn't go in. Oh my God, unbelievable. Wow. I don't think Bobrovsky got a piece of it, but maybe he did. But either way, unbelievable. Hyman right in front absolutely had Bobrovsky out, down, and out, and just set it high. As
fascinating.
McDavid brought it into the Florida zone, but then Florida is able to ice it, so now Bouchard's got it again. Dumps it back for McDavid, who's been out there for the whole minute 30 of this second period, along with Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins. Basically, Edmonton has one power play unit, and that's it. Because Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and McDavid are all on both units. You know, the only thing that changes is maybe a defenseman.
Yeah.
As Darnell,
the second unit's out there just for emergency purposes.
Yeah, as Darnell Nurse picks it up, and it's dumped in by Edmonton. Bobrovsky stops it behind the net, loops it around, and looks like Florida gets it out. Kane able to stop it. Dumped in by Corey Perry. Bobrovsky picks it up to Montour. Montour to Bennett. Bennett skates it into the Edmonton zone. He's going to dump it in. Fighting against DC. Out in front to Rodriguez. He scores! Evan Rodriguez.
Oh!
Popped out in front in the low slot from Sam Bennett. And he takes it top cheese over the left shoulder of Stuart Skinner. 2-0 Florida.
Oh my gosh. Another hiccup in the Edmonton defense. Wow.
2:16 into the second period. And only, I believe, Florida's fifth shot on goal the whole game, and they've got two. That is all Sam Bennett right there. I don't care who he is. He dumps it in. And I hate the dump and chase in hockey, but this is one of the few times that it actually worked. He dumped it in, able to skate around not one, but two Edmonton defensemen. Just a hard-working play by Bennett, and he loops, just backhands it out in front to Rodriguez, who's all alone in the low slot, and he takes it top cheese.
That pass went right between Evan Bouchard's legs,
too,
to add insult to injury.
As they would say, that was a Butte Clark.
It was.
So that's officially Rodriguez's fourth of the playoffs from Bennett and Montour. Fifth and seventh assists, respectively, for them guys, as it is a tipped out of play by Kulikov into the crowd.
Someone's going home with a souvenir.
That's right. 17:22 left in the second period, and I think it's almost... it's not completely the same because, I mean, Florida scored 3:59, call it 4 minutes into the first period, and now they've scored at the 2:16 mark of the second period. But, I mean, to score the first 5 minutes of both periods, that's huge.
It is.
Especially for Florida, because Florida can hold a 2-goal lead from here on to the end of the game. They are that good of a team.
With the crowd getting into it at home, it's just going to put another cherry on top.
Oh, love it. As Rodriguez, the goal scorer, dumps it in, Bouchard picks it up to Ekholm, to Kane, to Draisaitl. He's going to skate it out into the Florida zone. Across to Holloway, big stop by Bobrovsky, scramble in front. Believe that was poked away. I don't know by who. It might have been by Edmonton themselves. Might have poked it in the corner as Draisaitl has it at the point. To Bouchard, he's going to dance around Tkachuk, trying to look for a shot. Couldn't get around Montour, though. Out to Ekholm at the point. Fakes a shot. That's a big block. I think that got Tkachuk in the side of the leg. That's on our... Oh, no, Rodriguez, actually. That's going to hurt like hell. So, thanks for scoring the game, buddy. You're going to have a big old welt on the side of your leg in the morning.
Yeah.
As Edmonton tries to get it in, big stop by Bobrovsky there. Wasn't great save, but he was able to stop a backdoor play from going in. As Luostarinen has it for Florida, he tries to get it out. Tarasenko picks it up. He's going to just backhand it into the zone as he doesn't really have a lot of help. Skinner plays it behind the net to Broberg, but Forsling is able to keep it in. Luostarinen able to dump it back in after a little bit of a scramble in front of the Florida bench for it. Edmonton able to get it up. A shot there by Broberg and stopped by Bobrovsky. As Janmark had it in the corner, Matthias Janmark. 2 Matthiases on the team in 13 and 14, so we thank you for that.
Yep.
As now the other Matthias, Ekholm, has it for Edmonton. As Reinhardt's going to chase him down behind his own net. Ekholm able to get it out. Up to McDavid. There's a shot there and saved by Bobrovsky. Reinhardt with it behind the Florida net. To Verhaeghe, he's going to just chip it out. As Barkov was waiting for it to settle down, but unable to, and Reinhardt's got it. He's going to dance around over. Oh, I tried to get a pass to Verhaeghe, and I think he should have just taken that shot. As it was blocked by, I believe, McDavid there. Should have just taken that shot, but...
Yeah, no kidding.
As Verhaeghe has it now, gets it to Montour.
It was almost a Blake Coleman.
Yeah. Verhaeghe takes a shot. I think that was blocked. Never made it to the net by Ceci. As Hyman has it for Edmonton. Out to Nurse. He's going to try and dump it in, but it went off the curved glass, so he basically passed it right to himself. As a good play, Deary. As Montour has it, he's able to get it out. Dumped in by Nurse.
Loose in the neutral zone. Yeah,
that's right.
Breakout.
Behind the Florida net, we're fighting for it. Edmonton comes away with it. To Ceci at the point, takes a shot. That's blocked. As Steenland has it. To Mikkola. Back to Fogle for Edmonton. He picks it up out to the point to Ceci. Rips another shot. And I believe that one made it through. That was stopped by Bobrovsky there. Kind of had to fight that one off. And that one's tipped into the netting. Yes, we're going to get a stoppage of play. At the 14-minute mark of the second period, I believe we are going to go... maybe not. I don't know. Don't know. It's going to be all decided if they decide to go to a TV timeout or not. It's kind of... That was a good hand-eye there by Evan Bouchard.
It was, yeah. Looking for a second chance opportunity.
As Holloway had that, and then, he baseball swung that. I mean, Marlins Park is not too far away, but then Mikkola is able to dump that away... Get that out of harm's way in the corner. So Bobrovsky had to be on top of it for that one.
Oh, my stars.
As we are not going to go to a TV timeout because we have not made it past the 14-minute mark or the 6-minute mark, technically, of the second period. As Tkachuk's able to get it out for Florida. As Broberg picks it up. It's stopped by Kulikov. Back to Sam Bennett, who's trying to dance around 3 guys. That's working so far. He takes it in front of the net. Big stop by Skinner there. Had Tkachuk sitting there waiting for the rebound. as Bennett has it in the corner fighting off Kulak. As Kane got it up.
If that would have gone in?
No, I know. That would have been huge. As Kane got it up to Draisaitl, but now Rodriguez, who blocked the shot, and I think the side of his leg, kind of limped off to the bench, but rub some dirt on it. It's fine. Walk it off. As Lundell he tries to skate it in front, unable to, as that was poked away by Holloway. Got it to Draisaitl, then back up to Holloway, and they're able to get it out. As Lundell now picks it up for Florida, as we have a possible 3-on-4-on-2 over to Tarasenko. Oh, big block by Broberg there. Rebound by Tarasenko. Stop by Skinner. Scramble in front. I think it's under Tarasenko right now. As we have a stoppage, I think Skinner's got it. That was a I don't know how that happened. I think Edmonton went for like a change, and it just left two guys out on the ice. That was a bad change by Edmonton there. That turned into a 4-on-2. And a big block shot there by Broberg to keep it 2-0 because that was going to go in the net. I can tell you right now. Off Tarasenko sticks, you better believe that's going to go in the net.
You don't see that play every day.
No.
Ain't no way.
Yeah, but like I said, big block there by Broberg to keep it 2-0. To keep his team only down by 2 rather than 3. Because that would have been a toughie. So, but I think Edmonton, after having their little bit of a lackadaisical start to the second period, they've woken back up now. They're kind of playing like how they did in the first period, where it took them a little while to get going, and then once they got going, I mean, they had a few chances there. I mean, to do something. I mean, they're at 18 shots on goal, so they've already had 4 for this first period in the first 7 or so minutes. So I think they're doing good. It's just what kills them is that they don't start good right off the bat. And so now they're down 2-0. Or in the first period, they're down by 1-0. It's like, okay, well, it's not much of a hole. Well, now you're down by 2-0 against one of the best defensive teams in the league in the regular season. That's a tall order to tie it. I don't think you're going to be able to score 3 goals in the last 3 minutes in the third period like you did against Anaheim a few years ago. You're not going to be able to do that against Florida. So I think if Edmonton can at least get 1 and cut the Florida lead in half, then they could at least just be like, okay, we got 1. We've gotten past Bobrovsky. We've taken down the Bobrovsky wall. All right? Let's just keep plugging away at it. Keep getting traffic in front of the net. And see if we can get another one.
The code here.
That's right. And if you didn't know, Bobrovsky is Russian, so the Bobrovsky wall, that was great. As someone took a stick to the face, I think that was Janmark, as Kulikov has it, Kulikov had it, he threw it out in front when no one was there. As Oposo comes back for it, up to Kulikov, he's going to dump it down into the Edmonton zone. Out in front to Bennett, I believe. Or no, that was Oposo.
Whistled wide.
That was whistled wide, yeah. As Florida has it now to Forsling, that's stopped by Skinner. That was no problem. Now, again, it's going to be hard to score on these guys without traffic in front of the net. Unless you can get them moving left to right. That's just how what's going to have to happen. This was look at for this shot right here for Steenland. I don't know. It looked like Janmark got
teammate stick.
Yeah, Janmark got hit by his own teammate's stick, so that was a good non-call by the referees there.
Yep.
I just saw him go down, but I was assuming a high stick because he was grabbing his face, but I couldn't tell if it was the Florida stick or if it was his teammate CC's stick. And the problem is it didn't draw blood, and so since it didn't draw blood, the referees wouldn't have been able to review it because they can only review 4-minute double minors for high sticking. They can't review just 2-minute minors. So, however you want to look at it, either a good missed call or a good non-call by the referees there. As Edmonton gets it up, Draisaitl gets it into the Florida zone. Out in front is Edmonton takes it behind the Florida net, out to the point, over to Draisaitl. Draisaitl trying to do something with it. Broberg gets it down to Kulak. He takes a shot, but again, No traffic in front of Bobrovsky. Easy save. Easy routine save for him. No problem. No problems at all.
All you got to do is just pick it out of the air.
That's right. In fact, I think that actually would have went wider than that anyways.
Yep.
Wasn't even a shot on goal.
Exactly. So that means it's still at 18-9.
Yep. 18-8 is what I got.
Oh, did they take one away?
Yeah, I think they took one away. Took one off the board.
All right.
See, I like ESPN doesn't always show the shots on goal, where like TNT they do, which is really nice. So I mean, I'm just going off of what the NHL app or the NHL website says, and I would assume that's going to be pretty accurate of what the shots on goal is. So as we get a stoppage for a hand pass against Edmonton here, I believe, in the neutral zone. I don't think it was much of a hand pass. I think it just went off of. I couldn't tell whose glove, but you know, regardless, they felt it was a hand pass, so a hand pass call is what it is. So we're gonna have a face-off at center ice, but it's not for a goal or a start of a period. It's just for a hand pass. As I would give that face-off win to Sam Bennett over McDavid, as Ekblad's gonna flip it up high into the Edmonton zone. As we get another stoppage, I believe, for offsides. It looked like Reinhart was a little too excited. Or Rodriguez, rather, was a little too excited going into the Edmonton zone, and so he beat the puck in. So we're going to have another face-off. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Paul Maurice with nearly 900 career regular season wins and no Stanley Cups. I mean, just nuts. Just nuts. I mean, holds the record for the most wins in a regular season with 0 Stanley Cups for all NHL head coaches. And he holds the record for the most regular season wins, and he's third in that, rather. He's third. So, and he's only, I was thinking he's like high, like he's like only 57, 58, so he still has a long coaching career ahead of him if he wants. He could easily beat Scotty Bowman's record for most regular season wins, especially if he keeps coaching Florida here and they keep playing the way they are, getting 50, 55, 56 wins in a season. So we're starting to get a little chippiness here between Tkachuk and Bouchard. I think Bennett was the one that upended McDavid at the blue line. Looked innocent, but Bennett was the one that kind of, caught Marchand in the mouth there with his fist in round 1. But it is what it is. You gotta sneak in a couple things here or there. Kind of keep your team in it. Keep the other team honest. Don't try no tricks around me. Put you on your ass. Oh, it looked like McDavid got cut on his chin.
Ruh-roh.
That's right. Good non-call by the referees. Let him play.
Yeah. Anyway, Edmonton dumps it in.
Yep. Florida able to get it out. Up to Tarasenko. He's going to just chip it into the Edmonton zone. Lundell goes after it against Ceci. Tarasenko with it. He's going to blow a tire. Oh, good play up to Montour at the point, but blocked by Nurse. Never made it to the net. Up to Foegele. He's going to just dump it into the zone. Mikkola picks it up for Florida behind the net, but Foegele able to pick his pocket. Lundell has it now. Chipped ahead by Luostarinen. Tarasenko not quite able to get to that one in time, but he has it now. And he's got a little bit of help there from Rodriguez. Or Luostarinen, rather. And now he's in the corner with it against Nurse. Getting some help, and he has it now. Poked it. I think that went off a glass stanchion here. That was a little bit of a funny bounce because it was going to go out to the point, and then it popped out to Nurse in the middle. As Edmonton's just going to dump it down there. As Montour is able to chip it up, and Luostarinen's able to get it out. As Oposo has it. Now Montour has it. He's going to backhand it into the zone, and I believe go for a change. He's been out there for about a minute. So he's definitely going to want a water break coach. As Steenland has it for Florida in the corner. But Edmonton's able to get it out. And then here we go. Janmark in, not quite alone. And it's stopped by Bobrovsky under his leg. And it's shoved in by Connor Brown. But immediately waved off by the referee. I don't see that's not going to count. Bobrovsky had that under his pad. And then it was poked in as you get a little bit of pushing and shoving here. As Connor Brown started to celebrate. But it was waved off by the referee, and Florida took exception to pushing Bobrovsky into the net. As we get a little bit of more Hey, you just got big old bear hugs is what we got going on here. Nobody's throwing punches yet. Pansies.
Oh yeah, yep.
So
Ekman Larson and Okposo are getting in it.
Yep.
Right in the middle
So
of the scrum.
Janmark had a good shot there, good attempt, hard work, and then Brown just came in and just pushed Bobrovsky's leg into the net. So yeah, that's got a 0.0% chance of being overturned. It was waved off by the referee right away. So that's going to have zero chance of being called a goal. Because if you don't know, if you cannot push the goaltender into net when he has the puck, not allowed to do that. And that was underneath of Bobrovsky's pad. And then went in, I believe Connor Brown went in and pushed Bobrovsky's pad into the net. So we're going to have a slew of penalties here, so I could give you a little bit of a rundown. Thank you, the NHL.com. We're going to have 4 total minor penalties, 2 per side. So no power plays out of it. I don't know if I'm assuming it's going to stay 5-on-5 for it. Kevin Steenlin is going to go for Florida along with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown are going to go for Edmonton at the 10:24 mark of the second period. They're probably all just going to be listed under roughings, I'm guessing. I mean,
yep. Offsetting.
Yeah, it's offset. Well, I don't know because the NHL doesn't always do offsetting coincidental minors. I think they will in this case, so it'll stay 5-on-5 because I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I've never understood why they do it the way why they don't do coincidental minors. Like if there's 2 penalties on the same and during the same play, they'll just go 4-on-4. It's like, why don't we just do coincidental minors? You know, whatever. It's what the NHL does. It's a little silliness, but whatever.
Yeah.
Tis what it is. So, but once again, Bobrovsky standing tall as Edmonton now has 20, count them, 20 shots on goal, and Florida has 9. So, as the penalty boxes are starting to look like bus stops in the city, Janmark was almost able to get that in 5-hole, and Bobrovsky wasn't sure where it was because it was stuck underneath his right pillow. And you can see there he's looking for it. He's like, he thought he just blocked it. He didn't know it went under his pad, and if that would have been 2 inches to the right, we would have been digging that one out of the Florida net for sure.
Yep.
I mean, technically we did dig it out of the Florida net, but it was a no goal. So let's see if we can see where the roughings came in. We got in the corner. We got a little bit going on with Oposo. And can't quite tell who's he dancing with.
I believe that's Adam Henrique.
Is that Henrique? Okay.
I think I saw a 19.
I think it was 19. I just saw the 1, and I couldn't tell if that was an 8 or a 9. Although I was pretty sure it wasn't Hyman, but, I wasn't sure. So I'm assuming Connor Brown probably got the roughing for pushing Bobrovsky into the net. Let's see if it's okay. So it's listed. The NHL lists Kevin Steenlin got roughing against Connor Brown. Connor Brown got roughing against Kevin Steenlin. Oliver Ekman-Larsson got roughing against Matthias Janmark, and Janmark got roughing against Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So that's how they're going to list it. I'm going to go with it.
And here we go.
So here we go. So it's going to stay 5-on-5, as Andy was correct. It is offsetting minor penalties. So at the 12:24 mark, as we're going to get a penalty here against Edmonton for interference, or maybe it's against Florida. I can't quite tell. They stopped it when Edmonton had control.
That looked like a cross-check on... I don't know.
I think Bennett... It looks like Bennett's going to go. Yeah, Bennett's definitely going. He's going, believe, because Steve Kazari, who's one of the referees, called interference. And maybe Edmonton did touch, or Florida did have it, and then they dished it off to Edmonton, but it looked like Edmonton, or it was stopped when Edmonton had it. As Bennett kind of cross-checked Draisaitl in the back, I'm going to say Draisaitl went down kind of easy. I'm just going to say.
That kind of sold it.
Yeah. NHL, it was Sam Bennett interference against Draisaitl, not Dylan Holloway, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm on top of it. That's one time. As Edmonton is able to control it, as they're going to go on their third power play of the game, as Draisaitl gets it down to Nugent Hopkins, who's able to keep it away from Ekblad. Nugent Hopkins out to Bouchard, back to Nugent Hopkins, to McDavid. McDavid trying to dance around like he did against Dallas, not unable to work. Draisaitl gets it out to Bouchard. To Nugent Hopkins, he's going to take a shot, and that's wide. But I think that went off the glass and hit the back of the net. Bobrovsky didn't know where it went. But it wasn't in the net, so that's all that matters, as Bouchard has it at the point. Over to McDavid, who's scooting around, trying to look for Draisaitl or Hyman on the back door, and Hyman does have it, trying to poke away at it, and Bobrovsky able to stop it as Barkov tries to get it out, unable to, as Draisaitl was there. Draisaitl gets it to Bouchard at the line. Back to Draisaitl, to McDavid, to Draisaitl, out in front, stopped by Bobrovsky, across the Nugent. Oh my God! I don't know if Bobrovsky got a piece of that doing a windmill leg kick save, Dominic Hasek style, or if Nugent Hopkins sent it high. Bouchard at the point, stopped, blocked by Barkov, and Florida's finally able to get it out. My God.
You want to talk about literally standing on his head to make that save?
Oh, Bobrovsky with an unbelievable. I think he got a piece of it. Nugent Hopkins could have just sent it high, but regardless.
Jeez. This crowd is all the way into it.
As Draisaitl now has it out to Bouchard at the point, blocked away by Bobrovsky, and that's able to just squeak out for Florida. 20 seconds left in the Edmonton power play as Bouchard tried to get it, and that's going to be icing, a rare icing against a team on the power play. Let's see if we can see that potential save by Bobrovsky. I think he may have gotten it. It wasn't as good as the save. Let's see. Here's a McDavid chance. He tried to dance around Forsling like he did against Dallas in Game 6, unable to do that. And that went across to Hyman, and Barkov was just able to tie up Hyman. And then here's that chance by Nugent Hopkins. It went off Bobrovsky, and he just pushes across and windmills. No, Nugent Hopkins just sent it high.
Sent it high.
Just sent it high and wide. And there's another stop by Bobrovsky there on Bouchard. Oh, that's the second time this game where an Edmonton player had a 4x6 empty cage basically to shoot at, and he sent it high.
Plus, it doesn't help they're 0 for 3 on breakaways. So
yeah.
That don't help either.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, 10 seconds left to go on the power play here. Draisaitl's taking it up.
Not able to get it in as Edmonton did not have their normal power play line out, as it's now back to full strength, so Bennett gets to come out of the box. I believe the bus stops are empty for both teams as Florida gets it in, unable to poke away at it, as Kane comes out with it now, up to Fogle. Fogle over to McLeod, up to Fogle, poked and tried to tip that one in, but was unable to. Stopped by Bobrovsky as Ceci gets it to Nurse in the Edmonton zone. Up to Kane. Kane to Fogle. Fogle takes a shot, but easy routine save for Bobrovsky there. But still, regardless, Bobrovsky on top of his game. I mean, there's a reason why this guy was in a running for the Vezina Trophy.
No kidding.
I think Shesterkin's going to win the Vezina because, I mean, the Vezina doesn't take into account how goalies play in the playoffs. But, I mean, Shesterkin, he is Shesterkin. So I think he's probably going to win the Vezina, but I think Bobrovsky, for the regular season, can give him a run for his money.
By all means, they are no surprising if it's neck and neck.
Yeah, and if you gave out awards for the best saves, it's in the playoffs, it's definitely Bobrovsky with that paddle save early in round 1, I believe it was, against Boston.
Wow. Out here looking like prime Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah. As Edmonton is able to win that face-off at control as Holloway's got it. Holloway to Broberg, and that one's tipped in the netting by Oposo.
And someone gets another souvenir.
Well, I think I just went into the netting and just popped back down. Yeah, there's a good stat for Bobrovsky. 2 goals allowed or fewer in 13 of the 17 playoff games that Florida's played so far. I mean, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Elite status.
That's right. As Mikkel was able to wrap it around for Florida, and I believe that's going to be an icing against Florida. No, they wave it off. They must have felt that the defenseman there for Edmonton, I believe Broberg, should have played it at the blue line, which I agree with that. He could have. As Bobrovsky plays it behind his own net to Ekman Larson. Ekman Larson chips it out. Picked up by Oposo in the corner. Oposo's got it now again behind the net in Gretzky's office. Although he's got some unwanted visitors in his office. As Edmonton's able to get it out, Ekblad picks it up over to Forsling. Forsling off the boards, poked away. As we get a stoppage here. Think it might have hit Edmonton player on the Edmonton bench. So that's why we have the stoppage. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think a penalty was called. As we're going to go to a TV timeout, courtesy of ESPN Bet. Well, I don't know if it is. I just said that. Give us money. No. Oh, my. I can't believe that's the second time this game. Not both were on Nugent Hopkins, but that's twice now for Edmonton where they've had 4x6 empty cages, and they sent it high and or wide. I mean, that's... Yeah. We pay you millions of dollars for this? I mean, Bobrovsky was there doing a big old Dominic Hasek windmill leg save, but still, that stuff's got to end in the back of the net if you're Edmonton. That's got to be in the back of the net. We can't have that be happening. That's two nearly for sure goals that were not.
And both of them are going to have nightmares about it tonight.
Oh God, are they? Jesus, I think Nugent Hopkins more than I can't remember who it was in the first period that had theirs. I wish it were
Zach Hyman.
Was it Hyman?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I wish I would have written it down. Read it down. As Andy would say, I didn't read any of it.
Yeah, yep.
Just writing down my... Now that I finally have a chance. Write down
As
the...
we're
write down the...
wrapping up the TV timeout, it looks like McDavid's got a patch on his beard.
Oh, does he? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yeah, McDavid's got a Band-Aid patch on his beard there.
Well, he was
right.
he was leaking from his chin, so... As we're watching something that obviously, the 15,000 people in the ESPN truck noticed. So we got to watch some stuff on that. We're just two guys here running this. We can't catch everything,
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely caught. I don't know where or how he got cut. I mean, he got cut during that Bennett play there at the blue line, but I don't know how he got cut during that. As Ekholm was able to get it into the Florida zone for Edmonton. He has it now in the corner. I believe Hyman has it there. Yes, he does. So he gets bowled over by Ekblad. And McDavid gets pushed over by Forsling, still digging away at it, as Nugent Hopkins comes away with it. But he's his pocket is picked by Barkov. And so Verhaeghe's able to get it out. And he's trying to get around Bouchard, trying to draw interference, but the ref ain't falling for that crap. As Reinhart has it to Bennett. Bennett takes a shot, stabbed by Skinner. No problem there. Once again, no traffic in front. Gonna be hard to score on one of them, but that's the first shot on goal for Florida in quite a few minutes.
And with that shot, they've now reached double digits in shots on goal, nearing the end of the second period.
Yeah, only took nearly 35 minutes of game time to do that. But we've reached the pinnacle, boys. 10 shots on goal. As we have Bennett, and I can't quite tell because I'm looking at their butt. I think Draisaitl, as Bennett's going to win that face-off. Shot from the point by Florida. It's sticked away. Once again, out as Edmonton's going to get it out of their zone. CC over to Holloway. Holloway's going to dump it in, and I think it hit the linesman as it never really went into the Florida zone. As Bennett now has it for Florida. Gets it up to Tkachuk. CC's able to get it back out. Bennett dumps it back in, and they're going to go for a wholesale line change. As Nurse picks it up behind the Edmonton net. Up to Draisaitl. Draisaitl over the red line. Over to Holloway. Back to Draisaitl, but Montour was able to break up that give and go. And he's able to get it out to Lusterin, and he's just bowled over by Darnell Nurse. As Tarasenko has it. Tried to get it to Lundell, unable to. As Edmonton's now able to get it out. Nurse has it again. He's going to just dump it in. Bobrovsky stops behind the net, gives it to Kulikov. and is going to be icing against Florida. I thought Florida hit that behind on the other side of the red line, but they say no. Yeah, I thought Stanley hit it on the Edmonton side of the red line. Edmonton for the second period, but I guess not. Yeah, if you look at it, there's 5 different players from the 2014 NHL draft in this Stanley Cup Finals, and the first 4 picks of the 2014 NHL draft are in the Stanley Cup Finals. First time in NHL history that has ever happened that the top 4 picks in any one draft are in the same Stanley Cup Finals.
I tell you, people, this is history and history in the making.
That's right, and I believe more history is going to be made once Florida wins it in 7.
Yeah, no kidding.
Of course,
plus they also showed the 126th overall draft pick is in this Stanley Cup final as well.
Yep, courtesy
all the way down at 126.
Yep, Gustav Forsling.
Yep.
As McDavid has it for Edmonton, going to pass it back to Bouchard, who is one of Edmonton's highest points getters this postseason at nearly 30. As Hyndman has it in the corner. Tried to get it to McDavid, unable to. Bouchard at the point with a big old back-scratching slap shot. That one's, I believe, blocked, never made it to the net. As Florida's able to chip it out.
Looks like they're out here playing chew clock.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Florida could, when they scored that second goal, only a little bit over 2 minutes into the second period, they were a good enough team to hold 2-0 lead for basically 40 minutes. They are that good of a team. As Broberg picks it up for Edmonton, and that's going to be offsides.
Shoot. That was so far offsides, even TV could see it along.
I knew that was going to be offsides before it was even offsides.
Yep. Get ready, get the whistle ready.
That's how offsides it was.
Yeah. A good 5 feet.
I'm 1,800 miles away from this game, and I knew it was offsides before it was offsides.
Yeah, we could see it from here.
That's right.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh, excuse me. In a circle, we got McLeod, and I thought we were going to do that again because they kind of just stood there. But that's dumped in by Florida, and Skinner had to play it, or Edmonton wouldn't have been able to change. As Mikkola picks it up for Florida, able to backhand it back into the neutral zone. As I believe Edmonton is once again offsides. We have another stoppage. "25 shots on goal for Edmonton, 11 for Florida. Edmonton has had 11 shots on goal this period, and Florida has had 7.
Improvements.
Well, hey, Florida's double digits, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think Florida won game, or not Florida, Edmonton won game 6 against Dallas with only 10 or 11 shots on goal the whole game.
Oh yeah, something like that.
And they won that. I mean, that's ludicrous. That's what you should be getting a period, not over 60 minutes.
Yep.
As Edmonton has it now, they get it into the Florida zone. Picked up by Janmark. Kulikov and Lindell trying to poke away at it, and they're able to, as Kulikov has it. Oh, he's had it poked away from him as Janmark picks it back up. Janmark trying to get it to Nurse, wasn't able to, so he dumped it back down to the corner as Ekman Larson cut it off to Kulikov, and that's backhanded out of the zone. No icing on this one as Nurse picks it up behind the Edmonton net. CC off to his right as he's waiting for Edmonton to set up after changing their forwards. As he gets it up to Kane, over to Fogle. Well, Fogle wasn't able to control it as Forsling had it, but then blew a tire. So he's going to need to get a new set of Goodyears at Discount Tire. Goes around to Bouchard. Bouchard trying to get around Barkov. He does. Throws it at the net. Kick save by Bobrovsky there. Bouchard has it now. Tries to get it. That's blocked by Barkov. As Nugent Hopkins picks it up back to Bouchard in his own zone. Nugent Hopkins picks it up over the red line into the Florida zone, over to Evander Kane. Kane back down to Nugent Hopkins, up to the point to Ekholm, over to Bouchard, back to Ekholm on the near side. Bouchard, middle of the ice, throws it at the net, blocked by Bobrovsky. I think he might have gotten a piece of that. As we're down to the last 45 seconds in the first period, as Reinhart has it, he takes a shot, saved by Skinner, and unable to get the rebound, I believe, was Lundell. As it gets up to McDavid and Montour, as McDavid picks it up, over to Bouchard to Ekholm. Ekholm takes it. That's blocked by Verhaeghe's stick. As McDavid just throws it around in the corner and out, and Barkov, Bobrovsky tried to play it, played it right to, I believe, Draisaitl. Draisaitl put it out front, but there was nobody home for Edmonton to shove it into the empty cage.
Wow.
So one of the few mistakes I could really give to Bobrovsky on this one. I mean, that's the second puck-playing error mistake he's had this game. He had one in the first period, in the first minute. He's able to save his own bacon, as Montour is just going to kill the rest of the second period there for Florida. As we go into the second intermission, 2-0 for Florida, as Edmonton had quite a few chances there at the end of the second period. But Florida did too, as we had Reinhart takes a shot off of the shoulder of Skinner, and then Barkov just overdrove the net, wasn't able to stop in time and backhand that one in the empty net. As Bobrovsky there tried to play it behind the net, wasn't able to stop it, and Draisaitl threw it in front, but nobody home for Edmonton there, so it just went harmlessly basically across the net mouth.
Yep.
So, like I said, as we enter the second intermission, 2-0 Florida, courtesy of a goal by Evan Rodriguez from Sam Bennett and Brandon Montour. 2 minutes and 16 seconds into the second period. Edmonton with 26 shots on goal, and Florida with 12. So, big round of applause for Florida. They've made it to double-digit shots on goal. Shots on goal for Florida in the second period was 8. Edmonton, 12. I think it's going to be hard now for Edmonton to get into this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be I think the one way I think they can kickstart them getting back into this game is if they can get a power play goal.
Yeah.
It's just because their power play is so good. I mean, now they've had 3 power plays and they're 0 for 3. So considering what their power play percentage is, they are overdue for one. But if we look at the stats after the 40 minutes of play here, Edmonton 26 shots on goal, Florida with 12. Florida dominating the faceoff circle with a 61.5% winning percentage in the circle, which definitely helps, especially if you can do that in the offensive or defensive zones, so you can control the puck. Both teams are 0% on the power play, Edmonton being 0 for 3, and Florida's only 0 for 1 after they only have had 1 power play, and that was in the 7:33 mark of the first period. Hits for Florida is 48, 26 for Edmonton. 13 block shots for Florida, 11 for Edmonton. 11 giveaways for Edmonton, and that definitely tells they've given away the puck to Florida a lot. Florida has 6 giveaways, and Florida also has 7 takeaways, or as we call it, 7 Pavel Datsyuks.
That's right.
Edmonton only has 2. So Edmonton, they have moments of brilliance where they play like they are a team that has, an $87 million cap, but then they play. Then other times they follow it up with just sloppiness. Like I said, you cannot have 11 giveaways. I don't even care if it's against the San Jose Sharks. You cannot have 11 giveaways in a game. That's a lot of giveaways to just gladly here. Let me just pass it right to this player on the other team. You can't do that kind of stuff. You're gonna be digging it out of your net more times than not if you do that kind of crap.
Yeah, no kidding. Clean it up.
Yeah, and they might want to put a chain on their wallets because they're getting their pocket picked a lot by Florida with 7 takeaways for Florida.
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
So,
Shoot. Oh my gosh, they could even go redneck style, put the dog on a chain too.
Something. I mean, they need something here because they're not going to win a game if they keep going that way, and they need to get better in the circle. The end of the first period, it was about 50-50. It's sure as hell not 50-50 now. 61.5% for Florida.
Wow.
So we need to get that better. And I think, and especially on the power play, I mean, Edmonton had a power play. Basically, they had 2 power plays that period. I mean, the second one they had of the game, the first 9 seconds was in the first period. But basically, they've had two power plays in the second period. And whenever there's a face-off, if you're on the power play, you have to win that face-off. You cannot not win the face-off. So.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Shocking.
Uh-huh.
Man. Florida keeps up this momentum, they will go all the way to claim the big prize.
And who knows, if they keep doing it like this, they're going to do it in quicker than 7 games.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad Dylan's not here. He's missing it. I mean, overall, it's been a good game. I mean, can't argue.
Solid.
So poor Dylan's been missing a good game. It's all right. We can razz him later for it.
We'll send him the post-game highlights.
Well, I'll just send him. You can just send him the post-game stats.
That too.
Well, he probably won't be able to read the stats. He's like, "What does power play percentage mean?" Never mind. Forget it.
Never mind. Yep. See, just watch the post-game video.
Well, I think you need to watch the ones that aren't done by the NHL because the NHL will do ones that are like they'll only show the goals or like the big saves, which I mean is nice, but there's a lot more to hockey than goals and big saves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. They showed it again there where Bennett and McDavid kind of had a collision. I still don't know watching that where or how McDavid got cut on his chin. As we have 12 and a half minutes left of the second intermission. So if you need to go get yourself a beer or a hot dog or a prostitute to do, you're going to have a little bit of time to do that. Meanwhile, we're going to take a quick break. More Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals is coming up right after this. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals is brought to you by the Functional Idiots Podcast. Available wherever you get podcasts. Back here in the glorious state of Michigan where we are at, but watching a game from Sunrise, Florida between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. We've got Colton and Andy here to take you home for the third period, which is coming up in just mere minutes here, with Florida having a 2-0 lead. Courtesy of Verhaeghe in the first period from Barkov and Reinhart, and Rodriguez in the second period, courtesy of Bennett and Montour. Going back to what we did in the first intermission, Andy, we're going to give out Andy's grades again. So, how would you rate the play so far, or the play in this second period for these Edmonton Oilers?
To be honest with you, I think it's gone down a little bit from, I think a C flat. I think it's gone down to about a C minus at best. The quality of the chances produced on offense is there for the most part. Just Sergei Bobrovsky has been doing a near perfect job despite his one hiccup towards the end there, almost giving away a free goal. But I think I think Edmonton's defense here, with the hiccups they've been having and Florida taking advantage, resulting in a lead, has been the major factor of why I've graded their grade down to a C minus from a C flat overall. The shots on goal here in this game definitely does not define what's happening, because the scoreboard and the lead for Florida is a result of that. What I think Edmonton needs to do, like what you said earlier, is see if they can draw another penalty. That power play has really got to get them sparking in order if they want to at least draw some sort of attempt to make a comeback here. So, but Stuart Skinner still doing pretty good for the most part. Just his defense has made a couple mistakes, but it's not panic mode yet. This game is technically not out of reach, but there is plenty of work to do. So I'm going to bring their grade down to a C minus on this one. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry, I had myself muted. I was yapping along there, saying something great, and then I said something, and you're like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what did you say something? I didn't hear it. And then I look, I'm like, oh, you're muted, dumbass. Duh.
Whoops. Anyway,
I heard all of what you said.
Going back off the last sentence I said that's the reason why I'm bringing Edmonton's grade down to a C minus.
Yeah, no, I heard what you said. I just had my mic muted.
Yeah.
Because I'm an idiot. So, you've downgraded Edmonton from a B plus to a C minus. I would dare say that you're going to upgrade Florida from their C, but really B minus, only because of courtesy of Bobrovsky. But you're probably going to upgrade into something else there, eh?
Yeah. I was definitely thinking, A minus on this one. Definitely A minus quality. This is solid.
Yeah,
the defense is there. The defense is right there, just as rock solid as could be. And then Bobrovsky between the pipes, also putting a cherry on top of that too. If Florida had more shots on goal and more control in the offensive zone, in which it would result in obviously a 3-0 or 4-0 game, then obviously it would go up to in a plus. But the only reason why I bring it down to an A minus is, well, only 12 shots on goal. That's 6 an average for each period. But I mean, this defense has just been the definition of tonight's game, in my opinion. Just absolutely shutting the door on Edmonton here. Yeah, no kidding. Like I said earlier, if this defense can keep this up, they will definitely go a long way and make my prediction wrong. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. The shots on goal do not tell the tale of this game so far. I mean, if you didn't look at any stat, just shots on goal, you'd be like, oh, Edmonton's killing Florida. They got him killed. But every other stat besides shots on goal, Florida's leading in. 61.5% in the circle. 48 hits to Edmonton's 26. 14 blocked shots to Edmonton's 11. Only 6 giveaways to Edmonton's 11. And 7 pickpockets to Edmonton's 2. Hell, even Florida's leading in penalty minutes at 10 versus Edmonton's 6. I mean, they're leading in every category that you want to lead in, and they're not leading in the categories you don't want to lead in, except shots on goal.
Yep.
And both goals, I don't think you could reasonably blame on Skinner. I mean, the first one by Verhaeghe, that was basically a 3-on-2 that turned into a 3-on-1 because the Edmonton defense had a brain fart, smooth brain moment, and played that wrong and left Verhaeghe wide open backdoor city.
Yep.
And then on Rodriguez's goal, that was all because of Bennett dumped it in basically to himself and then outworked not one but 2 Edmonton defensemen and just got it out front to Rodriguez, who was all alone in the low slot. Like I said, you couldn't reasonably blame either of them goals on Skinner. I mean, it wasn't like he was out of play or out of position rather, or just had a bad rebound control. Neither of them were for rebounds. It was like you're asking the goaltender to make a save that's a low percentage chance of being able to make that save. So, but let's see if Edmonton can get anything going in the second period here. Or if Florida can keep the door closed at 2-0. Oh, you're right. Oh, McDavid there does have a little boo-boo patch on his chin there. As we get the third period underway from Sunrise, Florida. As we start this period, 5-on-5, even strength. As Kulikov had it behind the Florida net. Janmark has it for Edmonton. Now Brown loops it around. Tarasenko trying to get it, unable to win that foot race. Brown picks it up again for Edmonton. To Lundell. Lusterinen able to help poke it out as Broberg skates it back and picks it up for Edmonton. He's able to get it in the neutral zone and not quite got it to Connor Brown as Lundell gives it to Reinhart. There's Reinhart trying to get around Kulak there, unable to. Connor Brown with it for Edmonton. He's able to get it out. Trying to get it up, and I think it went into one of the benches. And I got my Kulaks and my Kulikovs mixed up there. No, I did have them right. I got my list backwards. I should have them the other way around. I had them right. I know what I'm doing. No, I don't.
Maybe throw in a Cool Whip in there.
All right, Stewie, settle down. Face off at center ice, and I would give that win to... I wouldn't even really give it to Edmonton or to Florida because they put it in their own freaking zone. Good face off. As Reinhart picks it up for Florida, he's going to dump it in. Barkov picks it up after being rimmed around. Still has it, Barkov. Tried to get it Verhaeghe, unable to. Bouchard cut it off. Edmonton mixing up the lines here. Draisaitl is out there with McDavid and Hyman. So Edmonton trying to get something going by having their big dogs eating out there. Well, trying to eat at least. So far, these carnivores have only been eating plants.
Yeah.
Bouchard has it for Edmonton. Trying to see if he can get anything set up. As he got it over to Ekholm, who got it up to Fogle, who just tipped it into the Florida zone, and Bennett's now got it for Florida. Able to get it up to Kachuk. Well, he was unable to control it, but still into the Edmonton zone. Able to outwork Nurse and get it to Bennett, but Bennett lost control of it. As Nugent Hopkins got it out. And probably going to be an icing against Edmonton, yes. Just over 2 minutes into the second period.
Third
Period, thank you. I was doing good for like a minute there of not screwing up. Hey, if you don't want any screw-ups, you'd be listening to the ESPN broadcast, not this crap, all right?
Yeah, no kidding. This is low grade.
Dude, you take low grade and we're like 3 steps below it. That's where we are.
Yeah, this isn't even Dollar General. This is Goodwill.
This is homeless. That's what this is.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, Florida's able to get it in, is able to throw it out in front, unable to do anything with it, though. So it's rimmed around. Hey, ESPN, I do not appreciate this camera view. I can't tell who's got it and who don't. Go to the main one, please. God, thank you. As Montour has it for Florida. Now Steenland has it. Able to get it up to Milakov. Lusterinen trying to get it from Kulak. Unable to, as Kulak's able to get it out to Perry, but Tarasenko's able to keep it in as Skinner stops it behind the net for Broberg. But now Florida's got out in front. Big stop by Skinner there. I think he just got a piece of that with his blocker.
Yep.
As Edmonton now has it, getting it into the Florida zone, but that's not really stopped there on Holloway. But regardless, Florida's got it now with Ekman Larson, although Holloway was able to take it away from him, but he turned it over to Lundell. So Lundell's able to get it out of the zone. Lundell back to Forsling. Forsling over to Ekblad. Ekblad able to dump it into the zone. As Verhaeghe tries to pick it up, unable to, as Reinhart has it. Reinhart to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe around to Forsling at the point. To Reinhart. Reinhart gets it down to Barkov behind the Edmonton net. Barkov out front to Reinhart, who sent it wide. Verhaeghe with it again. Rims it around to Ekblad. Bouchard and Barkov fighting for it. Barkov comes away with it, gets it up to Reinhart, as Reinhart throws it back into the corner, and Ekholm picks it up for Edmonton. But able to keep it in was Forsling, as Bouchard's now got it. Able to glove that shot down from Forsling. And that's shot in as Ekblad stopped skating there for some reason. And McDavid was able to negate the icing. Hyman's got it behind the net, trying to find McDavid in front. Couldn't quite do it, as Barkov wasn't able to get it out, so Hyman was able to get it down to Draisaitl to McDavid. Big stop by Bobrovsky there.
Wow.
Little tic-tac-toe play there by the top line for Edmonton, and Bobrovsky was able to sniff it out. A lot of left to right pushes there, because a pass from Hyman from the bench side of the ice over to Draisaitl, who was on the TV side, who immediately passed it over to McDavid. But, yeah, Bobrovsky had that side sealed off. I mean, there was not much to shoot at there.
Wow.
For McDavid.
This crowd is just absolutely loving it here.
I'm loving it watching it.
I mean, having the crowd in it helps.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. As Montour is able to get it out for Florida. Lorentz has got it behind the Florida net, being hounded by Ceci. And that hounding work as Edmonton's able to get it out. As Janmark was about put into the Florida bench. Nurse takes a shot from the point that was blocked. Oposo able to pick it up, break it out of the zone on himself, one-man banding it. He's able to get it into the Edmonton zone. Skinner stops it for Nurse, who picks it up and skates it out. Turns back. As Kachuk chases him down to his own goal line, but Nurse backhands it out of the zone. As Nugent Hopkins backhands it into the Florida zone, picked up by Kulikov to Rodriguez along the boards, who's able to get it out. Edmonton able to backhand it in, courtesy of Broberg, as Bobrovsky stops it and gets it off to Rodriguez, who chips it out. Once again, Broberg throws it back into the Edmonton, or the Florida zone, rather. And Florida's able to get it back out. As Evander Kane gets it over to Broberg, who's going to just skate it in his own this time. Getting tired of these boys, turning it right the hell over when he dumps it in for him. As Fogle tried to help out Broberg, was unable to, as Florida's able to loft it out. And Kulak picks it up for Edmonton. And he's going to wait behind his own net as both teams go for wholesale line changes. Able to get it out was Edmonton, but gloved down by Forsling as he's got help with Tarasenko. Tarasenko takes a shot, gloved down by Stuart Skinner there. Easy shot there. I could see where Tarasenko was looking for it. He was trying to get over the pad under the glove. But he shot it a little high, so Skinner was able to glove that one down.
Oh, yeah. Edmonton leads the football game in shots on goal by a score 27-13.
Yeah, I like what you did there. Yeah, both teams so far have one shot on goal this period.
And we're nearly halfway done.
Yeah, we're a little over 6:50. We're 6:18 into the second period, or third period. Damn it, I did it again. Third period.
Yep.
Yeah, start these games early, man. 8 o'clock, 10:30 on the East Coast. I'm ready for bed. This game better not go to freaking overtime. We're screwed.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I started... Hey, why don't you get rid of the second intermission thing there on the live stream, you idiot. Jeez. You have one job. Control the live stream. Hit like 2 buttons. And I'm still failing to do that.
It's just...
God. I'm not even running the scoreboard. God. Yeah. I'm not running the scoreboard. That's just you. I'm saying me. I left the second intermission thing up there on the live stream. Because I'm silly. Is it nap time yet? If I'm struggling now, I set up the overtime. I set up, I was just going to do, first intermission, second intermission as text for right now until we can figure something else out. And I was like, you know what? I better do overtime intermission. Now, I'm hoping I didn't jinx it and this game actually goes to overtime. Because that's going to suck.
Yeah, no kidding.
At least overtime periods are quick because they don't do any TV timeouts in the overtime. They only take one TV-esque like timeout at the halfway point of the periods. But then the intermissions are only, I think, about 10 or 12 minutes long rather than the normal 18.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes by quicker, which is nice. So, yeah, there's a good stat right there. The last 3 Eastern Conference Finals have all been won by a Florida-based team. The old Sunshine State has got that baby locked up tight.
Yeah.
No eclipse problems for them, that's for sure. As Lundell's able to win that one back to Montour, but Corey Perry was able to block that and get it out for Edmonton as Mikkola was trying to get it up to Luostarinen, but not. Perry now has it along the boards and takes a shot when stopped by Bobrovsky. As Lundell picks it up to Luostarinen. Luostarinen's able to just chip it into the Florida zone. That's waved off, icing-wise, as Tarasenko was there. Tarasenko in the corner with Luostarinen and Henrique, and Henrique's able to come away with it with the help. And we're going to get another penalty for interference. I don't know against who, though. Looks like against Edmonton, or I don't know. Because I don't know who had control of the puck when the play stopped. No, it's a Florida power play. So, yes, it is against Edmonton. Who, though? We don't know who it's against. Show us Corey Perry going to the sin bin for 2 minutes or less. As he gets called for interference. I didn't see it, so I'd like to see where it was at. Okay, so Corey Perry's number 90. Okay, he kind of hit Lundell in the back. Lundell went down kind of easy, in my opinion, but per the rules, it was interference, but whatever. As Nugent Hopkins able to win that one for Edmonton, and CC is able to get it out. As Montour has it in his own zone. Trying to break it out. Passes it back to Barkov. To Bennett, to Kachuk. Or not Bennett, Reinhardt to Kachuk. See, they're both Sam, so it throws me off sometimes. As Montour has it at the point to Kachuk. Trying to get it over to Verhaeghe, I think, but it gets tipped into the crowd. So someone's going to go home with a 3-inch diameter 1-inch tall piece of rubber as a souvenir. And no, I'm not talking about a condom. As we are 25 seconds into the Florida power play. Still the first unit out there for Florida. As Ekholm is able to get it out for Edmonton to help kill a little bit more time as Montour picks it up. Over to Reinhart, who skates it behind his own net. Passes it to Barkov. Barkov skates it into the Edmonton zone. Dishes it over to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe with it in the corner now. Loops it around. Picked up by Tkachuk. As Edmonton's able to clear that one out. Courtesy of Ryan McLeod. Montour backhands it up to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe trying to bring it into the zone, but that's punched out by Connor Brown. So once again, Florida starts back into their own zone. And it's turned over. They're by Montour and picked up by Connor Brown, but blocked by Florida up into the netting there. So a little bit of an oopsie there by Brandon Montour. But then he's bailed out by one of his defensive partners who was able to put a stick in there and have that harmlessly go up into the netting. As not much of a power play here for Florida. I don't even think they've had a shot on goal this power play. If they've had, if they have, it's been one, and I don't even think it's been really that good of a quality one. As Florida now has it in their own zone. Ekman Larson with it. Dishes it back to Bennett. Bennett gets the old nitrous legs going as he skates in through the zone, but couldn't quite get through the Edmonton defense. So Nugent Hopkins is able to get it down the ice and kill a little bit more of that penalty off. As Bennett has it again, now with Tarasenko who dumps it in. Bennett with it behind the Edmonton net. Over to Tarasenko who rips a shot. That's blocked by Nurse. Janmark rims it around and it's able to get it out of the zone and ices it down for Edmonton to finish off the power play for Florida. So the Oilers have now killed 30 straight penalties.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. Barkov with it now for Florida rather. Trying to get around Bouchard, unable to. Bouchard with it now. Gives it to Hyman. Well, that's stopped and picked off by Reinhart, who rims it around to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe with it. Turned over, and Draisaitl's able to get it out. But then it's shot back in for Florida as Bouchard gets it out for Edmonton. Forsling trying to get it back into the Edmonton zone, but Verhaeghe's able to do that. As Skinner stops it for Bouchard. Bouchard skates it out into the neutral zone over the red line. Gives it to McDavid. Draisaitl has it now out to the point. Over to Bouchard. Bouchard takes it looking for a tip, and it went off of Hyman's stick. And Bobrovsky's able to find it as it kind of pinballed into there. But it wasn't a very hard shot. I think I've seen Turtles go faster than what that shot was. So it wasn't a very, even though it was tipped, it wasn't a very difficult save for Bobrovsky. It was tipped by Hyman and then went off of Steenland's skate. So it was actually a double deflection there. But Bobrovsky was on top of it. Like I said, once it went off of Hyman and then Steenland's skate, it was not a very fast moving. It wasn't even a very hard shot to begin with. So it wasn't a super difficult save for Bobrovsky, but still. Bobrovsky's been on top of it this night. I mean, unless he has a total meltdown here and absolutely blows it by some monstrous oopsies, he's going to be... I don't see how he would not be first star of the game.
Oh, yeah.
As Edmonton's going to try and get back into this game by ruining Bobrovsky's shutout and cutting the Florida lead in half. As Bouchard has it out at the point to Draisaitl. Draisaitl trying to get around Ekblad, but unable to, as Ekblad was able to poke it away into the neutral zone. Bouchard with it. Now he's going to dump it in, but that's tipped, so no icing against Edmonton here. As Ekblad has it now. Gives it to Lundell. Lundell is able to backhand it out of the zone as Luostarinen tries to poke it away. But Ceci has it. He gets it up into the Florida zone, and Lundell picks it up over to Montour. Montour skates it out over the red line and backhands it into the Florida's, or the Edmonton zone, rather, as Nurse picks it up. But now Luostarinen takes it around behind the net for Lundell. Lundell with it in the corner. Lundell to Luostarinen behind the Edmonton net. To Tarasenko in the corner. Luostarinen again. Lundell out front. Oh, just missed Lundell's stick as Luostarinen wrapped it around as a pass-wise in front, and it just, I think, went between the stick of Lundell and his left leg. As Darnell Nurse skates it into the Florida zone for Edmonton here, trying to get something going. Out in front for Kane, not there. As Barkov has it now, gets it up to Reinhart. Reinhart's able to chip it off the boards. Verhaeghe in a foot race against Draisaitl, or not Draisaitl, Connor Brown, rather. Now Broberg has it in the corner to Connor Brown, able to get it out for Edmonton. As Kulikov picks it up. And that's dumped in by Florida. No icing on this one as Skinner plays it over to Connor Brown along the boards. As Bennett has it for Florida in the neutral zone. He's going to dump it in. Skinner stops it behind the net for Broberg, who is being chased by Rodriguez. Broberg with it now. That's got into the corner there. Rodriguez with it. Backhands it out of the zone. Bouchard with it in the neutral zone to McDavid. McDavid skates with it to Ekholm. Ekholm rips a shot. That's blocked by Ekblad. Forsling not quite able to get it out. Ekblad is able to loft it in the neutral zone. It's picked out of the air by Ekholm, who gives it to McDavid. Over to Draisaitl. Draisaitl drops it back to Bouchard, and that's blocked by Verhaeghe. Bouchard with it again. Behind the net, gets it out front, and that's shot by Hyman. That one goes wide. I think Bobrovsky might have gotten a piece of it. Draisaitl with it. Dumped back in by Ekholm. Now with it is McJesus. McJesus going around the top of the circles. Tried to throw it in front. That's blocked. He's still with it now. McDavid gets it to Bouchard. Bouchard down to Draisaitl. Draisaitl to Ekholm. Back to Bouchard at the point. And that's... I tried to pass it off to Ekholm, and that's blocked away by Verhaeghe. So Florida's able to get a couple fresh bodies on the ice as Luostarinen is able to take it away from Ekholm, who gives it to Reinhart, who's able to take a shot, but that's stopped by Stuart Skinner there. So a good persistent pressure there by Edmonton, but I don't think they only got one, maybe. I think they only got one shot on goal there from that persistent pressure. And you're not going to score any goals unless you throw the puck on net. I know, hard to believe.
It is. Yeah, no kidding. They have missed the net a lot tonight.
Yeah,
no
well,
kidding.
and just not that. I think it's hard to say because Edmonton is sitting at 31 shots on goal. But I think part of their problem is they're trying to go for the pretty shot rather than just taking a shot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Bouchard was trying to pass it off to Ekholm there, and Verhaeghe was able to poke it away and take it out of the zone. It's like, why are you trying to force the pass? Just, if you don't see a pass, you have three guys down below the dots. Just throw it down there and let them fight for it. I mean, you guys have both been out there for a similar amount of time, so everyone's tired. It's not like only your guys have been out there for 2 minutes. Everyone's tired. And I would bet McDavid would have a much higher chance of getting away from anybody else because, well, we don't call him Connor McJesus for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's got to turn on the afterburners.
He's got the nitrous legs.
Yeah. So, man, oh man.
Oh yes. 6:45 left in the third period. I should say 6:45 left in regulation. Florida's still up 2-0. Let's see if Edmonton can somehow figure out this Bobrovsky enigma for them and get something in the back of the net. As we're going to have a face-off deep in the Edmonton zone. As Nugent Hopkins is able to win that one for Edmonton, as Cece is able to wrap that one around the boards. Holloway not quite able to get it to Nurse, as Bennett's able to come away with it. But Nugent Hopkins picks it up, gives it to Cece, who passes it along to Holloway. But Rodriguez blows a tire as he dumps it into the Edmonton zone, and Skinner stops it behind the net. He wraps it around to Kane, Evander Kane, that is. Evander Kane tried to get it to Holloway, but it is poked up in the air, and then Cece played it with a high stick. So we're going to have a face-off, I believe, in the neutral zone at the center dot. As the big guns come out again for Edmonton, being Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman, with the top defensive pairing of Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm. And that one's won by Edmonton as Bouchard hats it. He gets it into the Florida zone, but that's tipped, so there's no icing as Ekblad picks it up, and he's going to chip it into the neutral zone. That's gloved down by Ekholm. As Barkov tries to come away with it, unable to, as Ekholm has it now. He skates it into the Florida zone, gets it over to McDavid. McDavid looking for Hyman, not there. Gives it back to Ekholm at the point. Ekholm tips a shot. That one's goes wide of the net. Verhaeghe has it, not quite able to get it up as Bouchard gets it, gloves it down at the point. Fakes a shot, takes it over to Ekholm. Ekholm rips a shot. I think Bobrovsky got a piece of that. As good breakout by Edmonton, as it's now in their zone. So good job, boys.
All the way behind the net.
That's right. Good breakout. As Bouchard starts with it behind his own net. Long stretch pass up to Draisaitl, and I was stopped. I know what it was not stopped for. It's two-line pass, because it hasn't been around since 2006. I think it was offsides, actually. As Florida is really been able to lock down Edmonton here. Edmonton just not able to get a damn thing going. Which is going to be really hard to win this game. I mean, Florida's done a really good job of locking down that top line for Edmonton. And by top line, I don't mean the Nugent Hopkins McDavid Hyman line. I mean swapping out Nugent Hopkins for Draisaitl, because that is a banger of a line, considering Hyman had 54 goals in the regular season. McDavid had over 100 assists, and Draisaitl is basically a point-and-a-half player a game. So,
yep. No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor McDavid's toe drag around Miro Heiskanen was disgusting.
Yeah, call a cop. Because that's some illegal stuff going on there.
Textbook.
Yeah, that was a Buick Clark. McDavid was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do it myself. And he tried doing that earlier in the game against Forsling, the exact same thing, but was unable. Forsling was able to, I don't know, maybe Forsling recognized it, so he's like, no, you ain't doing this to me, buddy, and he's able to poke check it away from McDavid.
He put his stick down in the right spot. Yeah, he blocked it. He didn't poke check it. I remember that replay. Yeah.
Well, regardless, McDavid wasn't able to do it 2 games in a row. Regardless, it was 2 games against two different teams, but still. We watched some highlights for Bobrovsky here, and, I mean, he's been impeccable tonight. I mean,
standing on his head for a reason.
Yeah, I can only think of 2 mistakes that he's made all game, and that was in the first period, and they were both puck handling mistakes where he went behind the net, or in the first period he tried to play it and he turned it over. In the second period, he tried to play it behind the net and he ended up passing it right to Draisaitl. But I mean, other than that, I mean, he's been near perfect. You could not ask anything more out of a goaltender. And I think the same thing from Skinner. Skinner's made big saves when he needed to. It's just he hasn't had the help defensively in front of him a couple times. And those couple mistakes that the Edmonton defense has made, the Florida offense has been able to capitalize on it. As Fogle wraps it in front of the net for Edmonton, but that's into the feet of everybody, and able to take it away was Luostarinen. as he pokes it out to Broberg, who stands behind his own net.
Evander Kane had a chance to get that, but he missed and whiffed on that.
Turned
shot
over by
in front.
Draisaitl, picked up by Verhaeghe, and stopped by Skinner there. Sorry to cut in there, Andy.
No, that's all right. I just saw there was a pass in front that Evander Kane missed for a potential goal, but...
Yeah, it said... I don't remember who wrapped it around. I think it was Fogle. And it was just... Everybody... It was about 4 or 5 guys amongst Edmonton and Florida players right in front of Bobrovsky, and it kind of just pinballed off of about 3 or 4 different people's feet. As Reinhardt's going to be kicked out of the circle for this one. So Barkov, I believe, is going to come in for it. Against Draisaitl, and I give that one to Barkov. But Reinhardt gives it to Ekholm. But Ekholm gives it right back to Reinhardt, as Reinhardt gives it to Barkov, who skates it in front of the net and tried to do a little short side shot on Skinner, but he was having none of that. As Skinner was able to stop that one with the old breadbasket save. As we got a shotgun amount of time left in the third period. I think if Barkov could have roofed it, yeah, he tried to roof it and it just rolled off his stick there. If he could have roofed it, because Skinner left the top corner wide open.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Hot dog and
wax on his tape.
Yeah, like hot dog down a hallway wide open.
Yeah.
As Reinhardt has it for Florida in the corner. Gives it out to the point to Forsling, who rips a shot tipped by Barkov, but goes over top of the net. Ekblad is able to keep it in for Florida. Bouchard tries to get it out to Hyman, and he's able to, but then gives it off the boards to Ekblad. Ekblad gets it over to Forsling. Forsling up to Tkachuk. Tkachuk's able to get it down into the zone. As Ekholm gets it over to Bouchard, as Tkachuk just bowls over Ekholm, rather. As Tkachuk has it, but it's poked away by Ekholm. Shot back in by Florida. Picked up behind the net is Ekholm with it. Who tries to get it up to, I think, Holloway. Who blew a tire. So Bennett is able to get it down into the zone, but Skinner gives it over to Ceci. Ceci gives it to Ekholm, who gives it back to Ceci. I think Ekholm wants to go for a change as he tries to pass it up and get it into the Florida zone, as he's able to do that. As Holloway has it, he throws it at the net, but it's blocked away by a Florida player. Edmonton able to pick it up with it. Ryan McLeod, who shoots it into the Florida zone. Off the boards to himself and stopped by Bobrovsky there. That was a nifty little play.
Oh.
He dumped it into the zone and just carried about 50 mile an hour more speed than everybody else and blew everyone's doors off. And passed it to himself off the backboards, basically, as Verhaeghe comes away with it now, trying to look for a pass to Lundell, and the Florida's offsides. Oh, or no, that was Reinhardt, not Lundell. Reinhardt got a little giddy there and jumped off sides ahead of Verhaeghe. .229 here left in the third period. If you're Edmonton, you gotta think if you can win this face-off and control it into the Florida zone, you gotta get Skinner to the bench.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is clutch time.
Yeah, this is 6-on-5 territory here. As Draisaitl has it, gives it over to Bouchard, and Skinner heads for the bench. So empty net for Edmonton here. You check that box there, Andy, on the scoreboard. Hyman has it, trying to, but unable to. Ekholm has it, trying to get into the Florida zone, and a little bit of a weak shot there. Draisaitl is able to keep it in, but Sam Reinhart has it, just flips it towards, but Ekholm knocks it down. Lofts it into the air. McDavid with it now, into the Florida zone, trying to one-man band it, unable to. Ekholm takes a shot, that one's blocked into the corner. Draisaitl with it now, out to the point to Bouchard, over to Ekholm. Back to Bouchard, back to Ekholm. Ekholm over to Draisaitl. To Bouchard at the point, slap shot, and that one's wider than that. Florida able to get it out, courtesy of Rodriguez, but it's gloved down by Bouchard, who brings it into the Florida zone. Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins. to McDavid in the corner. A little nifty spin move just trickled out in front. And Bobrovsky was on top of it, able to cover it and stop play. I am going to assume that Edmonton is going to use their timeout here to rest their big guys and draw up some sort of play here, because you're running out of time when you need to score 2 goals. With only a minute 21 left, yeah, McDavid with a little nifty spin move here, and it actually rolled off his stick and just continued to roll right in front of the net. That would have been something if that would have went in. That would have been unfortunate.
That would have been ridiculous.
That would have been unfortunate. So, yep, as I suspected, Edmonton uses their timeout to drop some sort of play. Like I said, with a minute 21 left, you need to score, and you need to score quick. Because asking for 2 goals against Florida in a minute 21, that's nearly impossible.
Tough task.
Nearly impossible. Especially the way that Bobrovsky has been playing tonight. Woo! We don't call him Bobrovsky for nothing.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, big face-off here for Edmonton. If they want to at least have a chance to take this game to overtime, as Draisaitl's going to go against Barkov in the dot, or in the circle, rather. Both are about 50% on the night for face-off wins. And that one's won by Barkov as linesman stops it. He's going to kick Draisaitl out, so we're going to try that again. So back to a minute 21 on the clock. As McDavid now comes in against Barkov. Give that one to Barkov again. Ekblad gets it over to Reinhart, who tries to kill it in the corner. McDavid comes away with it, dances around Barkov, able to get it out to Ekblad, who gives it over to Bouchard, or not Ekblad, Ekholm. Bouchard down to Draisaitl. Draisaitl tries to take a shot. That's blocked. As Lustaranen's able to come away with it, and he throws it at the empty net, and it's blocked by Ekholm and goes into the far corner. McDavid picks it up. As Edmonton's running out of time, Bouchard has it. Gets it up and dumped in by Edmonton. As Draisaitl tries to get it away from Lundell, and he's able to out to Bouchard. But Bouchard turns it over back to Lundell, and Lundell's able to loft it out of the zone. And I do believe this game is now out of reach for Edmonton. I don't see them scoring 2 goals in 28 seconds. As Forsling has it behind the net for Florida, and he throws it out of play. Are they going to say it was tipped? Yes, they do. So no delay of game penalty against Forsling, as they say it was tipped before it went on a play. That would have been the only chance that Edmonton would have been to possibly have a slim chance to get in this game, as if there would have been a delay of game penalty there.
Yeah, late power play.
Yeah, just a 6-on-4, just at least to get something on the board. 24.2 seconds left. Reinhart in the circle with Draisaitl. Oh, they put a little bit of time on the back on the clock. 26.1. As I give that one to Reinhart, who gives it to Mikkola. Mikkola tries to just eat it in the corner with the help of Reinhart and Barkov there. It gets thrown out in front. Luostarinen able to swat away at it. Goes out to the point to Bouchard, who rips a shot. That's blocked by Luostarinen. And Luostarinen has it and throws it at the empty net and scores. Luostarinen with an empty net goal to officially seal it. And I would dare say Florida's going to walk away with this game 3-0. Shutting out the Edmonton Oilers in game 1. As a bunch of rats are being thrown onto the ice.
Yep, 3 goals.
Which the rat story goes back to when the Florida Panthers were in their first playoff series in 1996 against the Colorado Avalanche. I believe it was 96. And a rat was in the Florida locker room. And I don't remember who it was for Florida, but they killed it with a hockey stick. And that was at the beginning of the playoffs. And so they kind of rode that high all the way to the finals, thinking that it was good luck. And so during game one of the games for the finals, I don't remember what game it was, when Florida scored, the fans threw rats on the ice. So it's basically the Florida Panthers version of the octopus for the Detroit Red Wings.
Yep.
Or that catfish is to the Nashville Predators. As that rat's just hanging out. And yes, Florida's able to win this game 3-0, courtesy of an unbelievable play by Sergei Bobrovsky. And I just, after the second period, I was like, I don't even care how this game ends. Bobrovsky's got to be first star. I mean, he's played unbelievable. I mean, Florida as a whole played unbelievable this game. Able to just keep Edmonton's top guns at bay. I mean, not very many chances. I mean, yeah, Edmonton had a total of, they gave them credited with 33 shots on goal and 18 for Florida. But I don't know how many shots, but not were from Edmonton's big players, but they didn't have a lot. I mean, Nugent Hopkins had that breakaway in the second period there, or the first period rather, and Bobrovsky was able to eat that one out, no problem there. But, I mean, McDavid didn't really have a spectacular night, neither for Draisaitl. And when you only have 4 guys that are double-digit points for you, it's going to be, you're asking a lot out of them 4 guys. And if they have bad nights, that's asking even more out of the other 18 or so in your lineup. Or 15 or so in your lineup, rather. So, big Game 1 win for the Florida Panthers as they once again down the Edmonton Oilers 3-0, courtesy of Sergei Bobrovsky. And yes, that's how you correctly pronounce his name, is Bobrovsky, when he has games like this.
Yeah.
You better call the Florida State Troopers out here because he just robbed everyone.
No kidding. No kidding. Mm-hmm. My gosh. Thank God he got out of Columbus.
Yeah, that's the best thing. The best thing that ever happened for him as a player. Because, I mean, I definitely don't want him to go through the Henrik Lundqvist effect. Because Henrik Lundqvist is the greatest goaltender in NHL history to never win a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And it sucks because to have the amount of success that Henrik Lundqvist has, all the wins, the unbelievable stats that he has for save percentage and goals against over his entire career, and to not have that ring it sucks. It sucks. And how could you not like Henrik Lundqvist? He's a great guy overall. I mean, he's no Tom Wilson, so I mean, how could you hate him?
Exactly.
So, and no surprise here, first star of the game for the Florida Panthers is Sergei Bobrovsky.
A 33 save performance. Blanco.
Yeah, he blanked him, that's for damn sure. So, game 2 will be on, let's see here. And I hate how the NHL has their website set up. So I appreciate that, guys. Really easy to look at stuff quick. Game 2 will be on June 10th, which is Monday, June 10th, which will be in Sunrise, Florida. And then Game 3 will be Thursday, June 13th in Edmonton. And then Saturday will be Game 4. So if Florida can win the next 2 games, they could possibly close it out in Edmonton in Game 4, although I don't see that happening. Do we want to put this down as a mark that want to do another one again next Saturday there, Andrew?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
All right.
Yep.
All right, so everybody stick that in your books. Next Saturday, 8 p.m. once again, Eastern time, that is. The Functional Idiots broadcast will once again bring another idiotic broadcast for you of low professional, low budget commentary here. If you don't want to listen to the proper professionalism of ESPN, you want to listen to 2, maybe possibly 3 numbnutses talk to you through this game. Join us. next Saturday at 8 p.m. And until then, go ahead and listen to the Functional Idiots podcast that I do with my friend Dylan, where we talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of stupid stuff, and give our stupid opinions on stupid things because we're stupid. But until next time, don't be dumb.